Hello everybody, how are you guys doing today? Welcome back, welcome back. Hope to see you all. Sorry. Hope you all are doing well. Have a little bit of an itchy throat. I don't know what's going on. Hope I don't get sick. But yeah. Hope you guys are all doing well. Thank you all for being here already. We're gonna be playing some more Ethyrial Echoes of Yore, another play test, because the test is up until I believe this tomorrow morning, I think, or maybe midnight. Not entirely sure actually. Hope everybody's doing well. We're gonna play some more. Again with Dynasty, we're gonna be playing some, but also with one of the developers is gonna join us in the call today, so that'll be a lot of fun. Let me see. Alright, so let's enter the game. I adjusted some of the audio settings, because the music is can be quite loud. Especially because we're going to be talking with other people. Might be a little bit too much. The main menu seems to be a lot louder than in-game. I think I want to turn it up a tiny bit more. There we go. Turned down the audio earlier from 75 to 70, and I think from 40 to 30 the music now. So, should be a little bit better than yesterday maybe. But if the music is too low, then please feel free to let me know about that as well. Alright, let's call everybody. Da Vinci's also streaming, so I don't know if he will see the call immediately. Otherwise I'm gonna have to send him a message in his live chat as well. There we go, let's start that. And we'll see how it goes.
I was about to say good morning, but I just remembered you're from the Netherlands, so it's probably like 5 there.
Yes, exactly. It's 5 PM, yeah.
Yeah,
Good,
I mean, I'm
good
from
whatever
Norway.
it is for everybody.
Oh, that's great.
How are you doing?
Pretty good, my man. Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. Can I call you by your actual name, or do you like me to call you by a username?
Whatever you prefer. So whatever's easier for you to say. You can call me Amar, you can call me Amador. I don't really care.
All right, cool. I'm just gonna go with Amar. I think that's easier for me. And then the people also know who you are in the Discord a little bit better, maybe, and stuff like that. So we're playing today with, as you can hear, one of the developers of the game. You are. What is your title? What is your position in the company?
Right, so being a small team, we're all kind of like, I like to call us all potatoes. Like, you can do a lot of things with a potato, you know?
Exactly.
But officially, the title is lead game designer. So I oversee the game systems. I make sure that the game's design is coherent, and I develop like most of the content that you'll see in the game, right? So I work on the crafting systems, the character progression, you know, and then really anything from NPCs to level design. Although we have people in the company who primarily focus on things like that. So for example, we have Max, who's like our level designer. He's made pretty much the entirety of the solitary isles that you're working on, or that you're playing on, sorry. And then he's also the one who's mostly responsible for filling the mainland, which is Irumesa, with you know, content right now. So he's the one that goes, makes it look pretty. And then we have Eric, who is our essentially our quest designer and world builder. Like he'll be the one that designs the quest, that gives the NPCs their flavor. And so I'm sort of more responsible for like the overarching game design, right? Like how does the game play? How does the game feel? What are some core principles that we want the game to have? And so that's kind of where my job is.
Awesome.
Oh, hello.
So a lot of
Just
work
jumped
to
in
do.
here.
Yeah, always a lot of work to do, but that's the fun part of it, right? Hello, Da Vinci. How are you?
Hi, just fine.
Awesome.
Alright. Let's see, I think my stream is lagging a little bit. It's probably a YouTube's end. Alright. So yeah, a lot of work to do. Where have you also logged into the game? Will you be
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, I mean I
Right
see
here.
you. I mean Amar.
Oh, mate. Yeah. So my let's see here. I can definitely jump into the game with you guys.
If you want, of course. Or you can just stay in the call.
My idea was that I'll kind of just have both your streams like on one screen each, and I'll kind of just be here. We can talk about the game. I can
Narrate.
sort of show.
Narrate
Yeah,
the
I can sort
adventure.
of narrate the adventure a bit, and also just be there to sort of like answer any questions that your chat might have, or any questions that you might have as you're just running around exploring, trying out stuff. So I think that'll be like my main purpose here.
That sounds good. That
Sure,
sounds good.
Sounds great.
Alright, thank you. Thanks everybody for being here. Everybody in Da Vinci's chat and in mine. So yeah, you hear it here. If anybody has a question, he is looking at both our chats, so feel free to ask any questions you might have about the game and stuff and things. So Da
Yeah,
Vinci,
and
what
there's
are we gonna do?
definitely-
Oh, silence.
Yeah, no worries. Sorry about that. So I was just gonna say, any questions that anyone might have, if it's technical about the game, no problem. If it's about the game's content, no problem. That's essentially what I'm here for. Is like I don't think there's a question you can ask about the game that I won't be able to answer. So let it go to your heart's content.
That is amazing.
Awesome.
Alright, I think we
Yeah.
will should just continue doing those quests, don't we?
Which one were you on? Were you still on the chieftain?
Yeah, the chieftain, yeah. So we should probably
I would
invite
assume
each
that
other.
we go back to the boat, maybe? It says travel to the outskirts, but we don't know where the outskirts would be.
Yeah, we probably have to
Right.
go and ask that guy to bring us to the outskirts, wherever that is. Let me invite you into the
Oh,
party
yeah.
again.
Let's do the party invite there.
Yeah.
Oh, Booster, look at your health, man. You've been buffing up there. You're at
Yeah,
185
I logged in earlier today, and all of a
you
sudden I had
cheated.
more carrying capacity and I had more health. I also trained a little bit after that. I trained my sword and my clubbing skill at the barracks. But that
Cool.
didn't really seem to do much in my, as far as I could see. But maybe that's more of a slow progression kind of thing.
So a little comment there is exactly. So AFK training is kind of like an homage to some of the games that we played in the 90s, like the original
Okay.
MMOs as we see them. And so what we do with AFK training within Ethereal is while you can stand there and smack a training dummy, while you're not around, essentially we detect that you're essentially doing AFK training, and so we reduce the total experience gain that you would gain. So obviously
nice.
playing actively playing your character and killing monsters and so on will still be a faster way to gain experience in your
I like
skills
that.
than just standing there and hitting a training dummy.
Yeah, that's good. Because a lot of games, it's so easy to AFK train, and you can have a level 99 RuneScape character, for example, within hours. As a
Yeah,
As a
RuneScape is what I call
example.
Yeah, RuneScape is what I call like a second screen game. RuneScape's the
Yeah.
kind of game that you can sit on Netflix and watch your show while you're just kind of clicking mining veins in the background, or
Exactly, and you're selling your account for a lot of money.
Exactly. So I
That
see
kind of
there's
stuff.
actually a question on Da Vinci's channel here from Casper Gamer, who's asking how many players can join and when is the planned release date. So right now, within the game, this is just our content creator showcase. We're inviting people like Booster and Da Vinci to just check out the game, and so they can get their first initial thoughts out in case they want to create any content about it. But already next week, we're going to have like an open alpha weekend test or stress test, call it wherever you want. We'll post some information on our Discord where we'll send like all the details of the form you have to sign to be a part of that. But that's open to anyone. And because of the way that our servers work, right now you're just playing on like our home Sweden server, but we can set up new server instances in a matter of minutes. So technically, the answer to how many players can join is hundreds of thousands if that were to happen.
That is really awesome. That's because you guys also created every single like aspect of the way you make the game yourself as well. Like, right, you made your own sort of engine mechanics and stuff like that. I don't know how to explain it, but
no, it's before I jump into that, just answering Casper Gamer's last question there. So the planned release date for the game is the first quarter of 2023. So we're only a year away from release. As for the game's sort of foundations, you're exactly right there. So Unity, the Unity game engine is at our core, right? So we use the Unity game engine at the core of our game, but we've heavily modified aspects of Unity to fit our game, you know, the way that we need them to. And we've customized every single aspect of our game. So our network code, for example, is written completely from scratch. We're not using any like abstracted network libraries, you know, where you can sort of kind of like, okay, do this and that. We've built everything from scratch to work perfectly with this game. So if you're looking up on the left of your screen, since this is the development build, you can see like your FPS, which is usually capped, but you also see your bandwidth. Now, of course, I don't know what what your technical understanding is here, but bandwidth is essentially how much server capacity your character is using. So when you're doing things like crafting and combat or traveling, it typically uses a little bit more. Like DaVinci's just spiked to like 60, 70 kilobytes a second. But usually when you're walking around and just exploring, it's like under a kilobyte or around a kilobyte per second. What that means is that our network code is so optimized that player entities within our game use close to no server capacity. So that's why we are able to run servers really efficiently, set them up when we need to, and also it just allows our players to kind of like experience that, you know, sort of latency low kind of approach to our games. Servers. So that's kind of what the benefit is of us having built it from scratch, is we can customize the game and make changes really, really quickly. Like if I were to add new craftable items in the game right now, we can get that sent out and updated on your server without even having to restart it. So I can have a new item pop in right now in front of you and you wouldn't even realize that a developer did that.
yeah, that is really awesome. I was surprised to hear that kind of stuff, because I've watched a couple of videos from the channel. Also, everybody watching on my end anyway, if you do !Yore from Echoes of Yore, then you can get the Discord link to the game and also the Steam page. So if you're interested in that.
Well,
yeah, I was
awesome,
really
yeah.
interested in hearing about all of that. I thought it was really... I mean, I'm very impressed with stuff like that. I have no idea how to code or anything like that, so that was something I was really impressed about, like making like pretty much everything custom.
Well, the interesting thing about that is if you look at today's, so a lot of great games today, especially like single player games, are made from what we like to call like abstracted tools. So like Game Maker and stuff like that. Now, tools like that work really well if you're making a simple concept, right? If you're making a Mario clone, okay, Mario's been made before, so we know exactly what to do to make a Mario clone, right?
Mm-hmm.
The interesting thing about Ethyrial is that it started with developers, right? So like we're a bunch of programmers and we started Ethyrial because we wanted to learn. So we were exploring, you know, advanced concepts such as server architecture, client server interactions, and we were doing all those things that typically when someone starts making a game, right, they have an idea. They're like, oh, I'm going to make a massive role-playing game with like, you know, the size of Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall's world. You know, it's all these like abstracted concepts that are hard to, you know, chew and actually do. But what we've done is we've approached it completely from scratch. So we literally started as simple as like, okay, how do we get a client to talk to the server? How do we get thousands of clients to talk to the server? How do we get hundreds of thousands of clients to talk to a server, right? So we approached it from a technical perspective from the beginning. And since the technicians are the ones that have, built this game from scratch, we know every single aspect of it. That's why we're so quick to add new things, to fix bugs, right? Because we know
Ooh.
every nook and cranny of our game. We haven't used any libraries anyone else has made. We're sitting on every piece of source code ourselves.
May I just add, this is a giant chieftain. He is
Yeah,
huge.
he's a big boy. He's a big boy.
I was
yeah.
like, oh, is that a mini boss or something? No, just a regular dude. Okay.
Yeah, so it's not that clear on the Solitary Isles. So the Solitary Isles that you guys have been exploring so far, this is what we call, like, I guess you could call it like the tutorial island, right? It's a small part of the world. And when I say small, I mean really, really small. So the mainland that essentially we're not letting anyone explore until the game's release. And the reason for that is we want, at launch, we want every single player that jumps into the mainland, we want it to be an experience where no one has ever been there before. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So we don't want people to have like pre-written guides and pre-written sort of like, oh yeah, you should go here. This is the meta. We don't want that. We want people to just jump into the world and then kind of just like scatter out and do whatever they want to do. Someone might want to be the first to build a house. Someone might want to be the first to reach like a certain level in mining. And we want that to be the game, right? Don't want to have this like preset recipe for like, oh yeah, you should grind these mobs to reach a certain level and then you should do this dungeon. No, that's just boring. We just want people to do what they want and have fun with the game, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, because you can just do whatever you want. You don't have to follow the quest line necessarily, even though that will probably give you more experience and money and stuff like that, I'm assuming. Since trade is a bit difficult, since you have to find a certain trader, and if they already have 20 apples, then selling them would give you nothing.
Yeah, exactly, right? And that's kind of the thing too with trading. Is interesting you mentioned that, because trading is also a massive part of Ethereal. So certain materials, like with gathering, and this is mentioned in our crafting and gathering video on YouTube for people that might be more interested in more information on that. But essentially, like, materials exist in places in the world where they make sense, right? Flowers that need a lot of humidity typically can only be found in like temperate and tropical areas.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
Right, and like certain minerals are only found in certain kinds of veins and rocks. Now on the Solitary Isles we kind of have it spread around a little bit just so people can actually find them and try them out. But generally what that means is you'll have areas in the game where you can only get a certain material, so that material might be worth a lot more if you were to travel to a city that's like northwest of there or far away, right? Because that material is not available in that city and is therefore like a bigger necessity there. So if you have a city with a lot of, or if you have like a mountainous state with a lot of iron and bronze and so on, well, metals are not going to be expensive there. But if you were to go to an arid area with very little metals, well, they're going to be worth a lot more there. So maybe as a player, you want to be the kind of like crafter trader that travels between these regions and make your fortune that way. And maybe you even make a caravan with your friends, and that's kind of your niche, right? So you're not even a combat player at all. Like, you're not running around, killing barbarians like you're right now. You just found your own way to play the game. And that's what we think is kind of beautiful about an MMORPG.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Da Vinci, I just found a fine bow.
Really?
I think you would like that. There you go.
That's a lucky drop.
No. I really enjoy having the basic bow instead. But,
Yeah? Okay. Well, I'll
if you are
take the
gonna
fine
throw
bow
it at
then.
me-
So
So
we're
I'm
looking
gonna
right
be
now for
answering-
the dark dragon herbs, but where are we finding them? I have a hard time seeing them. I guess they're supposed to be in the grass somewhere.
Yep.
Just gonna have to explore a bit.
Yeah, like you were saying, I really enjoy that aspect of it, that when we go from Tutorial Island to the main isles over here, that we get the choice of what kind of character class and archetype that we want to be and everything, but yet it's not cut in stone that as the game progresses, based on your play style, based on what you're doing, then you're going to change and evolve your character into what it is you really want.
Exactly, and I'll give you a little bit of like background info on kind of like how that system works is so your character has attributes and it has skills. So attributes is like your strength, your constitution, your dexterity, and whatnot. Now your skills, especially your combat skills, are tied to certain attributes. So for example, using a bow and arrow is a lot more of it levels your dexterity more than using a sword would, for example. So what this means is the game is actually tracking through your leveling of your skills. The game is sort of like building what your character attributes are automatically. So you don't assign strength points, dexterity points like you would in like an RPG where you level up. Those are assigned automatically based on what your character is doing. So if you play your character as a dexterous assassin, well, you're going to have more dexterity than someone that plays their character as a raging barbarian, right? So the game kind of like takes those concepts and it doesn't take it out of your hands, right? Because you have full control on what's going to happen, but it doesn't give you like the menial task of like, yes, assign your stats now, because that never really made sense to us, right? You should always just gain stats based on what you're doing in the game.
Correct. I think we noticed that slightly yesterday. I don't know. You could correct me if I'm wrong, and it's just all hypothetically in my head. But yesterday, Booster was kind of wondering about his hit points and being, his archetype versus my archetype and things. And then one thing I had done was I did a little bit of mining with the pickaxe, and I had done quite a bit of lumbering. I think my lumber skill is actually at 13 right now. And I got the impression that just chopping the trees might have actually helped my constitution a little bit, in addition to taking that amulet or whatever it was to gain extra constitution.
Exactly. And so actually, if you look, so there's two ways of seeing this. Is one, you have your natural stats, which is essentially what you gain from. Oh, Booster, no, you died.
Yep, yeah, these guys are
there's
tough.
two of them. Oh, there's two of them.
Yeah, I went a little bit too far. I thought you
that
were
was
behind
Booster
me.
over there.
It's a scary place. The barbarians are pretty scary.
Can I put that on me?
Oh no, he's a ranged guy.
Nope.
Well, now I don't have my hammer anymore.
No. Oh, here you go. Here's the hardcore aspect of it.
Yeah.
That's a big loss.
Well, you can always. So your corpse is actually going to be there. So if you go back, you'll be able to get your gear if you're quick enough.
It'll be there with the other stuff. The issue that I see sometimes is running into trees.
Yeah. So what we're working on, or what I'm kind of hoping we can do.
Got this tribal person cornered.
Is having so there you go. See, that's a clever play. So you've trapped the barbarian. He only has his bow.
Right.
Yeah.
And ranged has to have a little bit of extra space to be able to use the ranged weapon.
Exactly. So if you guys don't mind,
Booster.
I'm just gonna answer a question here from Booster's chat. So, Mr. Kingbode, you asked, someone brought this up yesterday, not sure if it was addressed. Will movement speed be standard or gear/class modifiers? That's a great question. So everyone has a base movement speed, and the main way that this is affected is through either external buffs, like certain foods or drugs that you might find or make in the world, or you can have gear modifiers that affect your movement speed as well. So over time in the game, heavier armors will make your character slower than, say, someone who's just running around in a cloth tunic, right? And then your second question there about party size and the group size of raids and dungeons. So Ethyrial, from a group perspective, will primarily focus on two types of content. One of them is instanced content, and the other one is group non-instanced content. So what this means is instant content is what you would expect from like your traditional MMO, right? Say 5 players or walking to a dungeon entrance and doing the dungeon together, and the dungeon is inside like an instance. So in that case, the player cap is limited to whatever that dungeon's cap is. Some dungeons are 5 players, some dungeons are 10 players, some are 15. When it comes to raids are usually, right now for what we have planned, the raids are sized for 20 to 25 people, depending on the raid. So that's kind of what we're going for. However, the non-instanced content is expected to have a lot more players involved. So we're going to have world bosses and also dungeons that are not inside instance dungeons. They're actual dungeons that you'll have, like, let's say in like a cavern in a mountain that someone found, but they realize the mobs in there are super strong. So they have to gather a group to actually be able to even explore the cavern, right? So these are the types of non-instance dungeons where you can bring 20 friends if you wanted to, right? And explore through these caverns. And some of them might even require 20 plus friends.
Yeah, there's definitely a huge spike in difficulty when you go into special areas.
Yes.
Like, for example, yesterday the scorpions. We were told that they were gonna be nerfed a bit, but yeah, those scorpions that the poison damage. Wow, that was insane on your own. You needed somebody with you there.
Yeah, it's kind of like, right, so the on the Ethyrial, on the solitary isles right now, things are just kind of scaled to a level where it's kind of like a linear progression in a way, right? You just kind of like can go to the different zones when you've built up sort of enough gear or skills and so on. But for the mainland is, as a player, you don't really know how dangerous places you go are until you get
So
there,
you get
right?
there, yeah.
So and we even like mixing it up. Like, we don't want one cave, for example, in a mountain to be just like, oh, this is only for level 5 to 10 players. That's not how our game works, because you can go
Right.
in there and the initial guards are maybe just like, you know, the fresh recruits in some cult. So they're not going to be as experienced in combat. But as you progress into the cave, you're starting to meet like the acolytes and the more experienced cult members, and these guys have been in a fight or two and have spells that you've never seen before. So you can walk through these places, and suddenly if you provoke the anger of like the leader who comes out and one-shots you with a shadow bolt, well, that's just, you know, your problem.
You gotta be really
Yep.
careful moving
Booster,
around
have you
for
found
sure.
any of these things yet?
There's nothing there. I think though, if you look at the quest, it says
There's-
underneath the outskirts, and I found a hole like somewhere all the way over here.
Oh, okay.
It was like a little
Right.
pit that we can go down into, so that's probably where we have to go.
Okay.
So, in case there's any Tibia players in the chat here, so we actually had a Tibia streamer who played our game, and he was talking about roping, which is a mechanic in Tibia where you can use a rope to drag NPCs and players up from above a hole. So you
Oh.
can like rope
Oh.
them up. We
Wow.
thought that was wonderful. Because we were inspired by Tibia and we love that. So you can actually
Mhm.
use ropes. So if your buddy gets stuck down in a hole, you can actually use a rope to
Right.
drag them up.
Oh,
Huh,
wow.
but
That's
there usually
really
is a
nice.
ladder though, right? As well.
Not all places.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
there are
that's
some
good to
there
know.
are some places where you'll need certain equipment to be able to access, and this is the kind of stuff that's like that builds our game. I mean, I'll let you guys know it's not activated right now because we want everyone to start on equal footing in the open alpha. But once the open alpha hits in April, what's going to happen is there's actually going to be a legendary quest line available within the Solitary Isles. And that legendary questline is, I'm honestly not expecting a single player to be able to find it and complete it, because it's not the kind of quest where you go like, talk to this NPC, do this. You'll have to find something, and when you find that certain something, you have to find information about that certain something, and through that information, you as a player will have to decrypt the info and figure out what you're supposed to do to be able to progress. Now, after the first player, if any player manages to complete the questline, that player will be awarded with a legendary item, and then we will remove that item from all the other servers, and it will never be obtainable again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
kinda
heard that in your
through
videos as well.
one of your blogs there, but yeah, I like how you put if somebody ever completes all.
Yeah.
Of these.
we don't care if no one completes it, right? We're not afraid to make difficulty like our content cryptic or difficult, because
Oh no, the
we don't-
scorpions down there.
Oh, shoot.
oh no. Yeah, those are scary. But yeah, that's essentially the thing. Like, we're not afraid to make content very difficult because we essentially want it to be special, right? We don't have to conform to like certain rules of a company or make things equal for everyone, because we're a small studio and we can do whatever we want. So creating like one-time events that'll give you like access to a special kind of item that you are the only player that will ever have it, we're not afraid of doing that, because that creates that creates like flavor in the game. And actually, the player that if a player manages to complete the quest line, they will have gained certain information and also certain respect from the people that were involved in said quest line. So other players might notice when this player enters town, the guards are like, "Oh, it's Booster, the solver of secrets," or something like that, and players can actually see that you're special. Like that you've
Yeah,
done
Booster is
something.
special.
Well, let's try not to use that word too.
Yeah, let's not. Otherwise, people
No,
are
but
gonna expect things.
Exactly, right? No, but that's kind of the vibe that we're going for, is we want it to feel
Right.
like you can do things as a player that are truly unique. And speaking of that, I see Mr. Kingbot has a new question for us. So I'm a big fan of making a trader in this style game. Will there be buffs or skills to increase how well you trade / haggle? Yes, Mr. Kingbot. So as a trader, as you grow, you don't only, not only through like your interactions of trading through towns and stuff, but you will build up relations with NPCs. So let's say, for example, there's a mining town out somewhere that struggles with, fresh water, food, and other kinds of supplies. If you actively supply these things to that town, you're going to start being known there. And so your goods are going to start being prioritized over other players' goods. So some traders will always buy stuff from you because you're like their daily active trader, for example, right? Like they're expecting you to come at a certain time. However, let's say you stop playing the game or you stop doing that. Now, those supplies that those people are used to getting and the prosperity in that mining town that has been growing because you've been providing them those provisions, if you stop doing that, their quality of life and the goods that they provide will actually start to decline because now they don't have the necessary materials that they need in order to prosper as a town. So that's how you as a trader actually affect the entire world around you. So a player who's not a trader might come in there because he's a miner, but now he doesn't have access to like the level of depth of mining that he wants because traders haven't been there and supplied these people with the things that they need. So that's how trading and anything in the world really affects. So all players affect each other in some way or another, right? And that's what creates an MMORPG for us. Like, it's the community.
Yeah, I really like that,
Hey,
that
Mike,
style of
welcome to the
mechanic.
chat. And yeah, we have a call here with the lead designer here for this game, and it is due to be released in 2023. I know you just came in, so feel free to ask any questions as we're going along.
There's a lot of ores in this cave, but I haven't seen any of those herbs yet that we're supposed to find.
Oh, there's a tin vein. Here, I'll just mine the tin while
There's
you.
tin, there's iron, copper.
Played with the spiders.
Oh yeah, no problem.
All right, you got them. You got them. You're good.
Yeah, I'm good. Of course. No problem whatsoever. So I'm assuming, since there's poison damage in the game, there's also ways to have like an antidote somewhere for poison and stuff like that.
And some poisons will be more, or some venoms or poisons will be more potent than others.
Of course.
And it's also the kind of thing where like I mentioned, that we're not afraid to do things that are like that can make your character feel unique. That makes players excited. But I mean, we're not always nice. I mean, take that as a double-edged sword, because what that also means is that we're not afraid of, like, if you go into some place unprepared, you can get hit by a poison that's permanent until you die.
Ooh.
Right?
Alright, I found these leaves now, but I can't seem to harvest it.
Oh, you found some?
Yeah, this little plant right here.
Oh,
right in front of me.
Yep. All right.
Can you gather it?
Yeah, let me see, because I've done a little. I might have done more herbalism than you.
Maybe my back is full. Nope, that's not the problem.
Dude, he's doing more damage than I am.
There we go. Be gone, Scorpion.
There we go. All right, let's go check this out.
The little tiny plant there.
Gather the leaves. A little bit closer. Gather the leaves. No, it's not letting us. The dark dragon plant.
Would we need a
Right
knife?
click on that. Gather leaves. Right click. Oh, I don't have a little bit knife. Did you? you lose yours?
Um.
Would that
So
be it?
for the
No.
for the curiosity of the developer, some of these quests have changed over time, so we're just making sure that they still work the way they should. So if you use
Correct.
the context menu and you try to click use instead of gather leaves, I just want to check what that does.
Okay.
Use doesn't do anything for me either.
Inspect.
Okay,
You see a
perfect.
plant.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a perfect example of just how quickly we can potentially fix things.
Awesome. See,
So
that's why I wanted to be in a call with you.
yeah, right? So here's an example of this. So this dark dragon plant that you're looking at right now, that's something that
Yes.
we call a doodad or an entity within our game. And entities are synced to the server. So what this means is essentially that any server changes we make can potentially be, depending on the change, of course, could be visible already from the moment we do it. So an example here will be, let me just do this.
Yeah, stem skills go up as you use them. I will show you quickly. There's a skill menu here, and you will see a lot of different skills being worked on right now.
Mhm.
Even pyromancy, which I used in the very early
Yeah.
beginnings in the tutorial bit.
I've done
And
my
so
herbalism a little bit. Yep.
these skills that you see here are all tied to attributes. So if you go to the character window here, Booster,
Yep.
if you click C, you will see your attributes there, and you will actually see, let's see, on the bottom there, you can actually see your distribution of what your character is currently sort of like focused most on, right? So I assume you're like a sword mage archetype, Booster?
Yeah,
Based on
I
your skills?
started out as started out using more magic, the wand in the tutorial, the first little island, and then I started using. Now I'm carrying a hammer and a sword in both hands, and I'm just using my abilities as I go.
So what you'll notice is you'll actually build up like a hybrid between like strength and intelligence, which essentially is what we're seeing on your character, right? You've been bashing things with weapons, but you've also been using spells. And so intellect and strength have sort of become your main attributes. What we're seeing over on Da Vinci's screen is actually he's fairly well balanced, because I guess you've been a little all over the place doing all different kinds of professions and
Oh,
using
I
your...
just thought it wasn't moving any.
Oh, that's actually interesting. So, what level are you, Da Vinci? Let's see.
Level 11 now.
All right. So on your next, so these update whenever you level up. So it's sort of recalibrating whenever you level up. So what we'll see is when you hit level 12, we'll see if anything changes.
That makes
Um,
sense. Yeah. So I was
So
thinking
here's
the
what we're-
same yesterday, that it felt like it wasn't doing anything, then randomly all of a sudden it changed, but that was the level up then.
Sorry, could you
Okay.
repeat that?
Just like you said, like I felt like the skills improvements didn't do much, but then randomly it felt like it was updating at some point, but that's probably the level ups that were updating the whole thing then. As you were saying, that with level ups
Exactly.
it recalibrates.
Ex-
So would the intelligence kind of upgrade as you're like reading through things, reading through the books, as you find things on tables and shelves and things?
So exactly. So that's kind of like that exactly. So that's an example of like alternate development, right? So you have like active development, which is like, okay, do you use magic in combat? Do you use magic related weapons? But then you also have like the passive things that you do as a character, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
you know, if you're a well-versed character who travels the world, reads the books, kind of like an historian,
Yep.
well, that
Right.
also increases your intelligence and wisdom, right?
Okay. Okay. That makes sense because I did that quite a bit yesterday, and you know, I wasn't doing any magic, of course, unless if you know some of these shots count as that. But then these shots with the bow, I'm like always using the bow, so that counts as the dexterity.
Correct. Yes.
So then, let's see, the strength. I was doing a lot of the axe and the lumberjacking, and then moving around quite a bit.
The
but that's
use
the
works now
dexterity.
on those dragon
The-
plants.
Yeah, so I think based on what I can see on the server log here, it seems that one plant that you guys found was
Oh.
somewhat
Oh.
of a weird plant.
This one also doesn't seem to do any of one of
Okay,
them.
so there's just a couple of random ones that are just bad plants or
There's a
something.
couple of fake ones.
A couple of fake plants, yeah.
Just gotta find the right ones. Well, at least we're not dying. Not yet.
Well, hey.
So with the live sort of updates that we do, what we
Mhm.
also want to add there is the kind of events that we'll be doing in Ethereal is also we'll have events where the developers will actually get involved directly with the players. So
Hmm.
at some point you might actually have like a village invasion where the boss is actually controlled by a developer.
Oh,
Wow.
that makes it a
Wow.
lot
So-
more difficult having an actual person controlling it.
Yeah, because then it becomes like a weird PvP thing, but you're fighting against like a boss monster, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the kind of stuff where like, if we did that, no one would ever know we did that because that would act just like an NPC, would be like a boss in the game, right? So like, I could take control over that rat that you're about to hit right now, and I could like give it a
Buff it up.
magical spell. Yeah, I could give it like a magical spell if I wanted
Breathe
to.
fire.
And you would have no idea what's going on, you know?
A lot of these seem to be bugged a little bit, the dragon
If you look at,
plants.
there should be some dark dragon plants on the walls as well.
On the
If you see
walls?
some of those.
Didn't even check those.
No, on the walls
Yeah,
I
Jodes,
usually
We're
don't.
back here with the lead designer here today. There we go.
See if we can find some on the wall then.
All right. You
So
search
I'm
on
gonna
the wall
jump.
and
Yeah,
Oh.
because it was working. It's working for me, so I'm just trying to troubleshoot it here. Live troubleshooting is always the best.
nice booster.
Yeah, I like that ability. It's a little bit hard because it has to be left, up, right, down, but can't do it
Yeah, so if
diagonally.
you now I'm trying to remember the hotkey, but if you hold Shift or Control, you can actually and use it's Control and use WASD. You can actually rotate without moving. So if you hold Control and move,
Okay.
Control and move.
Oh, nice.
like
nice.
that.
you'll notice how you're. So that's a good way to like aim your skills without having to like move around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Alright, let's see if we can find more of those plants here. You seen them on the wall yet? I don't think I have.
gotten none.
I see another one here in the ground.
Oh, there's somebody.
Don't mind me.
Oh. Oh.
I'm not gonna help you in combat. I'm not that nice. But
No.
Yeah,
I
we
am
don't
here to
need no
check.
help.
Sorry, Booster doesn't need the combat help.
No, exactly.
No, he didn't die at
Okay.
all yesterday.
oh wow.
Yeah.
So there is a place on the Ethereal Isles where you can get this spell if you manage to find it.
I got it yesterday.
Oh, you did? Nice.
Yeah, we
See,
did.
That's really
We
helpful.
got it from the, I think the librarian, I think. I'm not sure. I don't
So
know where
you'll-
I got it. I just saw it today. I was like, whoa, hey, what is that?
you got it without even realizing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like as you might have noticed, like in the caves, if you have no light, it is truly pitch dark.
Yes.
And lighting is actually a really important part of the game for us. Like we have 3 moons in
Yes.
Ethereal, in Irumesa, and the 3 different moons, you'll actually notice like one is up every night, one is up once a week, and then one is up only once a month. And they actually have different lighting. So like the one that's up once a month is like a scarlet moon, and it will actually add like a scarlet red tint to the moonlight as you're traveling around and exploring the world. And some
hey, Mitch,
events.
how you doing?
And some events within the world are only accessible or possible to see if you are there at a certain time. So maybe a riddle that you're trying to solve has like a has like an entrance to a cave where it's like a cryptic description, like you need to like, you know, the fires of this and that need to be aligned on the day of the do, right? So then you have to figure out as a player, like, do I have to cast a spell here at a certain time of day? Do I have to cast a spell here at a certain time of the month? That's kind of the level of like living in the world that we want to create.
I am very low on
Yeah,
health.
I still have yet to got any of these leaves here.
Yeah, I've
Do I
only
have to have
gotten
a knife
one of them.
Hey, wow, why are you bringing all these rats over here, buddy?
Yeah, I'm just running away. Don't mind
Well,
me.
I guess one was a scorpion, so that's all right.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm running away.
Oh.
I'm very low on health. You gotta regen a little bit. Let's see. Make sure I eat enough.
buddy.
Yeah, I'm well
hey,
fed.
hey. Oh. Come on.
These
back here.
spiders are
Get back
fine.
here. There we go.
So
Yeah,
I'm
hi, Mitch.
gonna
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna hand you guys a little. I'm gonna hand you guys an important little gift here, and I'll explain a game mechanic for your viewers. So here's another example of something that might be important in the game that you might not even think about. So I'm gonna share some. Me being a nice person, I'm gonna share some food with our lovely adventurers. So
Right.
Booster, here you are. Here's a plate with some nice fish.
Oh yeah, there it
A
is.
fish plate.
Yeah, and here you go. Now, cooking within Ethereal is being full is a very important part of your regeneration, and also you'll notice that being well fed and having certain food buffs is also important to boost your character's stats. So. And the way it works in Ethereal is when you eat a meal, it's not like you just gain a well-fed buff for a couple of minutes. Time in Ethereal is about 3 times faster than our real world. Oh, sorry, I think it's 4 times faster. So what you'll realize is that if you were to play for 24 hours of real life time, if you were to do a 24-hour stream, you will actually have been playing for 4 in-game days.
Okay, cool.
Now, the food will probably last you for a couple of hours of real time, right? Because, I mean, you don't have to eat every 5 minutes in real life, unless, of course, you're like me and you love food.
Same.
But the general, yeah, right? Preach, brother. But the general idea is that food buffs are kind of a part of your character, right? You want to keep your character well fed, and soon enough, you'll want to keep your character like well hydrated as well, because it will boost your efficiency in combat and gathering. Because of course, you know, it's kind of hard to do physical labor on an empty stomach.
Yeah, we're not having any luck
Oh.
finding these.
Yeah,
These
I found
herbs.
like 3 or 4 over there to the left, but they were all
Oh, could
Yeah,
you
not
take me to
working.
those so I can take a look at them?
yeah, like over here.
Yeah,
like
every
3 or
single
4
one
of
that I've
them right
found
here,
so far didn't
right here.
work.
There's one. I can't gather, can't use.
Yeah, same. Every single one that I found so far doesn't work.
Yeah, all these that I found over in this area wasn't able to do.
And I haven't
So
seen
if
one on
you-
the walls
Oh, there's
either.
another one there.
If you check your quest logs, have you gained any progression on the
I
gather tab?
I gathered
No.
one in the beginning with I got 3 of them.
You mean like the herbalism?
No, I mean, so if you look in on your right in the quest guide, you can actually
Right.
see if you've made any progress on the quest itself.
It
So
says
you've
gathered 0 out of 15 for me.
Yeah, for me
Okay.
3 out of 15 because I got one of them.
Oh, there was another one right over here somewhere. Here it is right here. So then I try use. And I try gather. And yeah.
Still 0?
And then, yeah. And then down here, I got use and gather. Either one are working there.
We'll get this sorted really quickly. So I see Dragon Ayame asked a question on Booster's stream here. So basically you affect the world kind of like a more advanced Fable. I really like that. I like that analogy. So Fable is actually a game that I
Nice.
really loved as a kid. I love how sort of like involved with the world I felt in that game, because I felt like the things I did actually had an effect, and that's exactly it, Dragon, right? So you can affect the world like if you're a miner or a trader or a combat specialist, or if you're just like a sleazebag. Like there are ways for you to affect the world without it having to be like doing a raid or a dungeon or like grinding your combat skills, right? Like you don't have to do that. You don't have to be a combat specialist. And something I mentioned in our character progression video that you can see on YouTube if you want is essentially that you won't have time in this game to become a master at everything. Like you can't. Like one character
Right.
can't be the best at everything. So say like like early days RuneScape, you had like what was his name, like Zazima or something. It was like, oh, like first player to max all skills and stuff like that. Like RuneScape's the kind of game where the whole goal is to become an expert at everything. But in Ethereal, your goal is to kind of just live in the world and find your purpose in it. So let's say, for example, I remember early Age of Conan. Me and my friend, once we got into a guild and we started like gathering resources for like building out the guild strongholds and stuff, we literally did that for like 8 hours a day. We would just gather resources because the music and the ambience in that game was so wonderful, and we really felt like we were contributing to the guild, right? Every time we
Mhm.
deposited our resources, people were like, "Oh my God, you guys are like actual heroes," right? So they were out killing monsters and doing stuff like that, but we were just so content, just like gathering resources and giving everyone, you know, a
Right.
home and a place to be. And that's kind of what we want Ethereal to become, right? We want it to kind of become this place where you can do what you want, but doing what you want has an effect on the world, and you're like interacting with players in that sense, because not every player wants to be like the highest level swordsman or the highest level archer, right? Some players just want to be like, you know, own a caravan, travel around and trade, or just explore different things within the world, or be the best herbalist, you know. And if you want
True.
to be the best herbalist, well, then you got to gather herbs, you know. If you want to be the best alchemist, well, then you got to experience with alchemy, and you'll find recipes and things that no players have been able to found. And how big of a thrill is that? Like, imagine being the only player
True.
knowing how to make a certain potion, right? You can sell that
True.
potion, make a monopoly on it, and make a fortune because other players don't know how to make it.
Right.
Yeah, that's very interesting and that's a
Yeah,
very
that's a
cool
great
aspect in games. I
mechanic.
like that.
Yeah.
I like being specialized in a certain thing, and then also
Here's
helping
one.
other people
Here's
out,
one.
and obviously making money myself with it.
Yeah, because that's kind of the thing. Like, I mean, even in real life, and
Yep.
it's an exchange of
Ooh.
goods, right?
Ooh.
Exactly.
You all right, buddy?
I'm good. These are just some spiders and some rats. As long as there's no scorpion coming into the fight, I'm good. Those are a real pain, but doable. If it's
there's
it's
a
only
scorpion.
one. Oh
Speaking of
no!
which, there you go.
There
You
we
got
go.
it. You got it, buddy. You're easy. 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 See? Look at that.
Awesome.
What the other one? Yeah, I'm still not able to get any of those.
Yeah, I'm trying to go back to the
Here's another
start
one.
where I got that one. See if that's the only one that actually works. Maybe.
Yeah, so actually the way I'm seeing it on the server right now is they're in a specific part of the underground, and the dragon leaves that you find that don't work are actually part of like an old entity that we used to place.
Oh,
Okay.
So there are ones on the walls in a specific part of this place. I don't want to give away
Okay.
exactly where.
So
that
wherever
do work.
Booster first found them,
Exactly.
the one that worked, that's where we need to go. All right, Booster.
oh!
Don't. Booster.
I
why did you
didn't
die, man?
realize I was
Don't-
so low on health
don't-
all of a sudden.
You shouldn't be dying, man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, Da Vinci, if you weren't a good
Oh.
friend now, you could just grab all his stuff, you know.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, get rid of
Oh
this
man,
guy.
now let's try and get back there without dying again.
Oh, that's
All these tribal dudes.
Oh, I forgot about those guys. You got to go through those, huh?
Yeah, all the
me-
way back.
Let me see what I can get rid of here. Fishing stick.
You're not too happy to see me.
I don't really need the lumber.
I'm probably gonna die before I reach it.
No. Sacks. There's a sack of more silver.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There we go. Let me see what I can get here. Can I loot all your stuff? I can. Yeah, because it's all in a backpack, I was able to actually fit it in. That's weird. I can put the backpack in a backpack.
Yeah, so
I just
that's
gotta figure out how
I
to get
noticed
out of here.
I noticed some confusion with you guys when we were
Ah,
playing
just
yesterday about
before
that.
I entered the hole. Ah, are you kidding me?
Bags within bags is actually from Tibia, so that's an old school MMO mechanic. And so carrying capacity in Ethereal is not defined by your bag space, it's defined by weight.
Right.
So characters that are stronger have a higher carry capacity and so on. So putting bags within bags is more just of a way of organizing your inventory as a player.
Sure. Okay.
So
Right.
you use like one sack for herbs maybe, and then you would use another one for like mining materials or something
Yep.
like that. But
Yep.
how much you can actually carry is defined by your carry capacity, which can be seen when you're in your inventory screen on the character window. You can see your carry capacity underneath your gear there.
Mhm. I just got to remember how to get out of here.
Oh boy.
Hmm. Booster, were we headed back towards the way to get out
Oh, God.
when you died?
I can't remember. I've died 3 times now.
One of the times that you died?
I think I was going north back to beginning.
Sounds like Booster might need some expert escort assistance here.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Otherwise, going back to my body is
trying to.
impossible.
See, so this is also a thing where kind of like this is the high, of course I'm being just a nice developer now, but this is just like kind of the part of the sort of high risk mentality that we want Ethereal to be. Like if you explore dangerous places, well, you're going through dangerous places to get there. So if you're not able to make it back to where you died, well, that's just you having taken a risk as a player that, you know,
Right.
you weren't able to deal with. And that's kind of the thing, like finding secrets and rare materials and stuff like that might require you to do things like that. You don't have to, but if you do, you
Right.
might be rewarded for it, right?
Right. That's good.
Very high risk. Yep. gotta be willing to lose some.
Oh yeah, if you want to gain much, you gotta be willing
Not
to
really seeing
risk to lose
anything.
much. You know?
Not really seeing anything over that direction though.
Let's see. I must have lost quite a bit of experience there.
400. That's easy. You'll be fine. You're at level 6 now.
No, I'm still 10. Luckily, haven't lost any levels. Just
Oh my
just a
goodness.
bunch of
Do I go
XP.
back around this corner here?
Why is this guy only having
Like
fisticuffs?
every time
I did nothing. It's my
these
my empty body.
creatures do tend to spawn pretty quickly. Respawn.
Oh, there's another one of my empty bodies.
So that's good. It makes it quite a challenge. Even
Let's
in
see.
the lower level areas.
Now the question is, how am I gonna
Yeah, and
find my
especially when
body
being
again?
ganged up on, right? So Ethereal's the kind of game where
Oh, what happened? What happened here? I lost my nature arrows. Not enough mana. Oh. Oh, I'm in trouble now. No mana.
Uh-oh.
No mana be no man.
No banana.
Oh my lord. I'm in trouble.
Da Vinci's in trouble.
Yeah, I can't use my bow skills. Alright, well,
You should still be able to you
Yeah,
can
regular
still
arrows.
attack them. Yeah, but then you got to be a certain distance away. Now this is just me, of course. When you guys start playing for real, I'm not going to be this nice to you, but
no.
for now it's probably okay.
Oh, hey,
I don't want
found
you-
Booster. I found Booster.
Booster
Awesome.
has been found.
Well, if you could help me out before I die again, it would be great.
Yep. I'm coming. I'm coming. Yep, run away. Run away,
Oh my
Booster.
god,
Run
the
away.
poison. Oh,
Run away. Run away.
now where was my body?
Now I got your stuff, Booster.
Oh, you got the stuff? Okay, cool.
Right here by the rocks here. We got there's a lantern and there is
Oh, right there. Okay.
there you go, and your backpack.
Uh,
Right here in front of you.
lantern. Yeah, I'm trying to pick it up. There, I'll drag it.
There you go. Right behind you. There
Oh,
you go.
there it is.
Backpack.
Perfect. Switch it out.
All right. Since you remember everything, where did you get that plant from?
Oh, that I don't remember.
Wait, here's one on the wall. I finally found one on the wall.
Oh, you did?
Oh, I got it.
Oh, finally. Yeah. Nice.
This one. Ooh, I'm getting leaves, and I'm getting a spider too.
Spider.
Spider. There we go.
I need to put my hammer back.
I
Oh, no, it's there.
finally got a leaf, and I'm happy.
See if we can get some as well. There we go.
Mm.
Well, we were in
Oh,
a
look at that,
party, right?
9,
Why
12.
is
Oh, that happened quite.
what's the
fast.
quest not
Alright,
updating
some
for
more
us
over here.
both?
Right here.
If we're in a party?
No, so you have to. It's individual for looting items. It's individual quest progress.
Yeah,
So
got it.
Oh, okay.
Did you get enough?
let's see here.
Booster?
So
Oh, here's more. Oh yeah,
Right
no,
here
I
on the
need
wall.
more still.
let's see. I've got to look at your chats here. There's been some there's been some questions, so I'll go through them. So Dragon Ayame asked, can you become a blacksmith and make gear for NPCs and other players? Yes. So blacksmith is one of the many professions that we offer within the game, such as leather worker, alchemist, etc. Being a blacksmith in Ethereal, you can sort of course, do your own thing. You might be the kind of person that's like just smithing to make money and sell your swords and axes and whatnot. But you can also be the kind of blacksmith that like does specific tasks for an NPC or a guild, right? So let's say if you're the guild blacksmith, then you might be the guy who's making like rivets and horseshoes for like, you know, the caravans or something like that. So there's different kinds of levels that you can use your abilities as a blacksmith. And one of the core principles of crafting in Ethereal is that your skill always matters. So as you're leveling up your blacksmithing skill, like even if you were to craft a lower level armor as a high level blacksmither, because of durability and quality in the game, you have a higher chance as a higher skilled craftsman to create higher quality weapons. And this kind of goes back to where I said, like, not everyone can be an expert at everything, right? So if I gather a bunch of metal, then why would I myself try to craft something and most likely fail when instead I can give it to my blacksmith friend who's very skilled at it and will be able to create a much better item.
So it also creates the RP aspect of it and a lot more conversation going on.
Exactly. And so we'll also have interfaces and windows from like within guild villages and towns that players build, where essentially, like let's say you need to get an item repaired, you can use the, you know, you can place them in like repair stations within guilds, and then those guilds blacksmiths can go in and fix your items for a certain price, and then you can go in and grab your item back, right? So that way you don't have to like wait until a player is online. You can sort of like drop off your services and then they can do things, and then when you come back it's done. It's like making an order of something in real life, right? Like dropping off your computer for maintenance or something like that.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
So
we're ready to turn this in then.
Yeah, we got all the stuff now.
So I see Tim T said he kept some of his gear after death. Yeah, so the way that death works in Ethereal is essentially as a player, you can one second. Yeah. So as a player, you can either you have a chance to drop the things you have equipped or like your bag and stuff based on a number of criteria. So you don't necessarily lose everything when you die. So let's say, for example, we have some anti-griefing systems. So an example of this would be if a super high-level player, or if like a bunch of players ganged up on someone and killed them, then you pretty much have 0% chance of dropping your stuff because you were unfairly killed. You know what I mean? So this kind of stops the game also, and those players would gain a lot of infamy. So we haven't even touched on the infamy system, but we actually have a PvP and infamy video coming out very soon, early next week. Where you can actually get some info on how PvP is going to work in Ethereal. But the main gist of it is that although technically I now could go into PK mode, if you will, and I can try to kill Booster and Da Vinci, not that I would. But if I were to do that, I would essentially be committing murder, right? And since we want this to be a fantasy world, there should be consequences for things. So if you do things like murder, which is obviously is the most atrocious thing you can do, what that essentially means is that you become an infamous person and you're against the law. So you guys might have seen some of the elite guards and maybe Wolf, the bounty hunter that was running around on the Isles. Those guys would destroy me. And that's kind of the idea is as a player, you should have spaces where you can feel safe, right? If you're wandering together with a guard patrol, you can be sure that no players are going to mess with you because, you know, those guards are going to screw those players up. As an adventurer in Ethereal, I mean this in the best possible way, and I'm curious about how chat is going to react to this, but you are not special. You are.
But my mommy
just
said
an
I was.
adventurer. I know, Bruce, it's terrible. But everyone's mommies say, and by default, no one becomes special. But what that essentially means is, if you meet like a royal guard, for example, right? Like a guard of the king's, like the king's personal guard, you can bet your butt that that guy has a lot of combat experience. His life revolves around protecting one of the most important people in the world. So how do you expect, as someone who's been running around killing spiders and scorpions, that you're even remotely as strong as he is, right?
Exactly.
And that's kind of the vibe we're going for. If you're a blacksmith, yeah, you're not as good at shooting a bow as a guy who lives out in the forest and, skins animals for a living, because you're a guy who makes weapons and armor. And so that's kind of like the fantasy world that we're trying to create. It invites this kind of like RP aspect, right? But without having to be made up. Like, you don't have to pretend like you're a blacksmith. You just play like a blacksmith. And then naturally the world around you sort of reacts and is the way that you expect it to be if you're a blacksmith. So like in WoW, for example, or any other game, yeah, you can level a blacksmithing skill, but it's not like it impacts the world in any way, right? And it's not like if you decide you only want to be a blacksmith, well, you're also a mage, for example, and you're one of 10 million mages that are playing the game. So there's nothing special about your identity in that sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in Ethereal, that's kind of the point. Like, your identity is created based on the things you do as a character.
Yeah, everything
nice.
has consequences. But
Oh yeah.
everybody can pretty much become anything as long as they work for it.
And everything having consequences even transcends beyond just you as a character. For example, when there are events in the game where players have to work together, like let's say, for example, like you're trying to stop some kind of demonic invasion of the realm, if not enough players participate and people don't provide the materials and stuff needed to run like the rituals to stop these people, and there are not high enough level like magic casters to perform these rituals, then demons are going to invade the world, and they are going to kill and destroy villages that might have been a part of your daily routine as a player. So the world is actually changing. It's not like the world is like this static place, so every time you log in it's the same.
Yeah,
Your
it's really
actions
alive.
as a community your actions as a community actually changes. And so what that means too is that different realms, so like your server will be completely different from another server because the players haven't made the same choices and done the same, like succeeded or failed the events in the same way that the other servers have. Which to us is just so much fun.
Yeah, it is very interesting. You can play on with a lot of different characters on a lot of different servers, and like each one of those 10 times you could have a completely different type of map with different villages that are prosperous and some aren't.
And there's an important note you mentioned too. Many different characters is actually kind of like where we draw a line. You can have one character per realm, and you actually can't have more than one character. And the reason for that is we want your reputation to matter. So for those that are not aware, Ethyrial, once it's released, is going to be a subscription service. So you're going to pay, we believe it's $10 a month to play the game. And there's no cash shop. So there's no services like name change or realm transfer or anything like that. So when you make your name for your character and when you start like doing actions in the world, like let's say you become well known in the community, your name actually matters. And because you can't just make more alts and stuff on the same server on the same account, you can't necessarily change your reputation. You can't just buy a name change and be a different person. So if you're an asshole to people, you're going to get treated like an asshole back, right? No one's going to want to play with you if you're being that guy who doesn't want to interact with the community. And maybe that's how you want to play, and that's fine. Like, there are going to be players in the game who are like, outlaws and outside the law and just want to screw with other players. And that's also a play style.
True.
Which actually brings me to Mr. Kingbout's question here. Sorry, you guys had something?
Oh, no.
No, go ahead.
So Kingbout asked, will PvP be limited to a certain space or worldwide? If global, will players be able to opt out, or will the danger of an assassin be constant? So that's an excellent question. So our game technically is open PvP. What that means is that I can mark players as hostile and I can attack them wherever I want. However, you doing so is essentially an act of criminality, right? You're being a criminal. You're assaulting someone and you're trying to murder them. And that's kind of how we want it to feel. Like, if you actually kill another player, you've already broken the law severely. And so the game starts going against you, right? You can't enter towns if you start getting recognized. Guards will attack you. Bounty hunters might come after you if you're a big time killer, right? So then you might ask, okay, so what can I do as an outlaw? Let's say you want to be that player. You want to be that player who like wants to kill other players. Well, there is a place that's kind of like the Lost Lands or the Black Zone, or we haven't really decided what we're going to call it from a game design perspective. But essentially, it's a place where there are no laws, because within Irumesa there are places where the kingdom doesn't have any influence, right? The kingdom doesn't care about those areas, so laws don't apply. So in there, outlaws kind of thrive. But I mean, that also means that other outlaws can backstab you, right? So you're not necessarily working together, because one guy that was your friend yesterday might lure you into a cave and kill you the next day. However, there are people who like that. So even if they're not the kind of person that will attack other players, some people like that feeling of like a threat. Like, it adds kind of like more risk to the game when you feel like a player could attack you. Now there's consequences to them doing so, but maybe you'll meet a player who's like, maybe some player on a server is known to be like an expert assassin of other players. Well, then their name will be known. If you see their name pop up on your screen, you're going to shit your pants, right?
Right.
And some people love that thrill. However, we do realize that not everyone likes that sort of like open PvP approach to a game. So we will have PvE and PvP servers. So the way that you can opt out, Mr. Kingbode, is if you play on a PvE server. Then there's no level of PvP except for matchmaking. So you can still do like 1v1, 2v2, and 3v3 arena. And you can also do like the instanced guild wars and so on. But no one can like attack you out in the open. So that's the main difference. But attacking you out in the open, even on a PvP server, is not something that every player is going to do, right? Because of the infamy system, the game will not turn into a PK fest, and I can guarantee that. Because the infamy system is not just like some number that you see on your screen. There are actual consequences to it. Like if you reach a certain level of infamy, bounty hunters will start coming after you to claim your head. Like both players and NPCs, and there's bounty hunter guilds in the world that make a living out of it, right? So that's kind of the answer to that open PvP question. But again, we're gonna have a video on this very soon, early next week, like I said.
Sure.
So be sure to check that out when it hits on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, that sounds good, and it sounds like there's going to be, a sector of the community that will thrive in that kind of a dark area and everything. But then, how far do they push that with that infamy system?
Exactly, and even within that area, there are things for them to do, right? So maybe a couple of players try to create like their sort of like own criminal syndicate, right?
Right.
And they try to like almost dominate the wild, the laws or the areas that are outside the kingdom's laws. But that's kind of what I love about this is we don't know. We don't know if players are going to do that, right?
Most
We'll create
likely.
the mechanics. Yeah, most likely, right? I mean, like I've played enough games to know that players are going to do that, but from a purely technical standpoint, we create a framework and a place for players to be able to do that, and then how they do it is completely up to them. So like Dragon Ayame just said in Booster's chat here, so basically there will be places like Deadlands or Thieves Town or Pirate Coast. Exactly, that's exactly what it means. There are places that are outside the law, but like go to them at your own risk, right? Because when you're surrounded by outlaws, not every outlaw is your friend, right? Not all thieves in the world are friends with each other. They would most likely be hostile to each other, right?
Yep. So it says return to the chieftain, but I was talking to him and the conversation got pretty old.
I
Conversation
kept
got
talking to him.
Well, he was just kept talking about of course, some of the history and the lore of the Titans and the temples and things like that and everything, but it seemed like we couldn't progress the conversation any further.
I got a new I got a new
point.
quest.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I got a
Okay.
new quest from
Because
that.
I got to a certain point, and here, let me squeeze past you there, Booster.
Yeah, you need to go
'Cause I
to
got
some
to a
sort of a
certain point,
well.
and he said go away. So.
Hmm.
I
Well,
guess
did
he
you
didn't
ask
like
him
my
about the
answer.
dragon? Did you ask him
Yeah.
about the dragon leaves that you might have gathered?
Yeah. Well, I already gave them to him, and
This way.
he's over here.
Yeah, you could answer yes or no, and I said no, and then you can keep the conversation going.
Yeah.
I think you have
I
to.
forget what. I think I was like somewhere down the pathway of talking about the temple. So
Yeah,
I
just
could
try
probably
temple
start up
again.
that area. So hello. I would like to know. Whoop, oh shoot. All right. There's all the hotkeys.
So something I tried to do during the conversation with this chieftain is writing some things down in my diary for later, so that I can remember, right? But I've had a little bit difficulty doing that because if I open up the diary, the notebook is pretty
Conversation
large.
closes.
So it's hard to see the words that the chieftain were saying. I have to open and close it, make sure I wrote it down correctly, stuff like that. Is there gonna be an option to also move around the notebook, just like your inventory character and stuff like that? The windows that you can move around.
So most of the interface UI elements in the game you can move exactly. I actually haven't thought about it for the notebook because I honestly taking notes while an NPC is talking is an excellent point, and we're gonna make sure we take a look at that. So I'm gonna make a task on that for sure.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Now he calls me stupid boy.
Well,
I mean, he knows you well,
You
then I
stupid
guess.
too, small boy. I guess he didn't like the direction my conversation was going.
I'll ask him about boy.
What about this boy?
Yeah, some sort of boy that gathers tea for him or something.
We called him Herb Gathering Boy, but his name was William.
I think
Down
this
into the
chieftain's
hole.
name is actually
There we go. I
Kratos.
think we're close now. Because of our large size, but boy could like you. There we go.
Tea gathering
He
boy.
liked tea almost as much as us. We even carried a small pot of warming water at times, except the last time he was here, he had it gone. Maybe lost in the town of yours. Okay. Place you call home. Maybe you go there and leave here. Yes. Oh, finally.
Place we call home, eh? Must be West Virginia.
Mountain Mama.
Really, Booster?
Yeah, yeah. I went there.
Yeah, there's no windmills in West Virginia.
Ah,
Understand what-
worst place in the world.
All right, have
Wait,
Patrick take
that-
you
is that
to
an actual-
the eye.
Is that an actual fact? Is there not a single windmill in the entirety of West Virginia?
Oh, I don't know.
He just says it to piss me off. Being Dutch and all. Windmill
Well,
lovers.
For those interested, at the start of 2020, there were 376 wind turbines in operation in West Virginia. So
Yeah, how about that?
there
Wow.
you go.
There we go. It's good to know.
So country roads and all that.
Exactly.
Well,
So
the-
I was
all right.
wondering, like right now, I'm like using the mechanic of him not being able to get anywhere. You just stab him in the back, the enemy. I know that
Yeah.
players can squeeze through other players not to get stuck. Will enemies also have that option at some point?
So squeezing through enemies typically no. I don't know. I don't think we're going to add it either because the thing about the enemies is they're not going to want to let you squeeze through them.
True, yeah.
Like if an NPC is in your way, like they're going to be like, "Oh yeah, sorry, I'm going to move." That's kind of like the logical explanation of it.
Mhm.
But if you're trying to squeeze past an enemy, it's just going to be like, "WTF, dude? I'm here to bash your skull in,"
Sure. But I mean like the other way around, like the enemy squeezing through you. Because I like use the mechanic to easily stab him in the back while he can't shoot me.
Oh, you mean the enemy running through you?
Yeah, because I
says
just put the archer in the corner and he couldn't do anything. I could just keep stabbing him.
Yeah, that's just you being smart.
So
That's kinda the thing,
that
though,
will
like-
key stay probably.
Yeah, he'll stay there. I mean, he doesn't have a choice. You're kind of cornered him. I mean, if I back you up into a corner and you're holding a bow and I'm stabbing you with a sword, there's not much you can do really.
True.
Although we are making, so we do have behaviors, and I'll add it to them. But we do have behaviors where, like, if range characters, do get cornered like that, at least they'll like unequip their bow and start punching you, stuff like that, because they will be desperate to fight for their lives. Of
Oh
course.
yeah, because I don't
Yeah,
see
'cause
anything of
I
that
tried
happening
to
yet.
do that yesterday with trying to change a weapon, and that wasn't very successful with switching from a bow to a sword.
Oh, in the middle of combat.
Yeah, because I couldn't put it in. In other games, you're kind of used to putting it on a hotbar and just hitting a key to be able to switch. But yeah, that's not quite the direction of the hotbar here.
Yeah, so having items on your hotbar here is meant for like using the item, because some things like axes and knives and stuff can be used to gather certain things. And so that's kind of the reasoning for that. But I do get the point though. So one thing that I have considered is that I'll talk to my team about and see how they feel about is to create like weapon sets, right? So how in like Diablo and stuff you could switch between like two weapon sets. That might be an idea for us to create like weapon swapping like that, and just have like a like a keybind to it, and then just make a small cooldown or something.
Right. So you would have a melee and a melee and a range.
Yeah,
So
for
what if you're a
example.
mage with a knife or something, or
Yeah,
a
so for
bowman
mages,
with a sword or whatever.
it might be something like a staff and a wand, right?
Oh
So a
yeah, yeah,
staff
yeah.
for a mage would increase your casting speed, so maybe you'd use that when you're like actively casting spells. But then when you're like in a phase where you're maybe regenerating mana or something, you might want to equip your wand to just stand there and kind of auto attack them, you know? So there's like a level of it. There's like a level to that as well. But it all just depends on players' play styles, and we'll make sure to make systems where it's like where it feels as natural as possible, right? Because the way you would do it right now is you just drag. Like if I'm fighting with a sword, I can just drag the staff from my inventory into my weapon slot, and then I'll equip
Mhm.
it. So you can do like the traditional sort of drag and drop thing, but we do realize that just from a UI and like quality of life perspective, players are used to just be able to right click it or add it to their hotbar, you know.
Right. So this place where I'm at now, it said have booster, Patrick, take us to the eye, and I saw it on the larger map before, and I thought it was like a little snowy area at first, and then when I just opened it up, now it actually looks like an eye. But
Oh
when I
wait,
first saw
you
this
went
from
there?
yesterday,
Oh.
I saw just a touch of the snow, and I figured, well, maybe it just snows up north, and that's totally different because now there's like that desert area was actually kind of far to the north.
Yeah, and it's
So
funny actually
that's
about the
interesting.
map too. It's funny about the map too, like just to give you an idea of how quick we work sometimes. So the world
Yes.
map and the mini map that's like actively updating and stuff while you're exploring, we started coding that a week ago.
Yeah, because yesterday there was a couple of things with it, and you guys like fixed that like right away.
Yeah, there
It's
you
because
are.
we
Like wow.
know everything, right? Like this is all made from scratch by us for you, right? So like every single little aspect that you've kind of been through, or like a bug that you see, like we know exactly where to go, how to fix it. Like our lead developer, Robin, he's obviously the one that started this project. I got involved later, and I'm more on the game design piece. But my background is in development as well, so we work really well
Mhm.
together in terms of like identifying bugs, how to fix them quickly. You know, some things should be fixed, some things shouldn't. So like we have a very good understanding of how our game is built because we built everything from scratch, right?
Right.
And that
Ooh.
lets us do things like what you just said.
Oh, so here's
Or
hey Booster, we could whisper that name that should not be named, and we could go back to do one of those boss fights again, like yesterday. Want to do that?
What?
It says touch and whisper Osdal Car or whatever. And yeah, we did that yesterday, and we were kind of in a fun little area, real
Hmm.
fast.
I'm trying to
you guys
open
are
this
actually well.
envelope that I see.
Yeah.
Unsealed envelope.
Ooh, gold bars. Look at all this fun stuff.
Doesn't really work. Doesn't do
It says
anything.
find the well. I think I found the well,
But
right?
how did you interact with it? I can't seem to do it.
Oh, the well. I right
Mm-hmm.
clicked on the well.
Oh,
I
I was
love
like
it.
hovering over it and it didn't light up for me. So okay.
I'm so excited to see what you guys do with this.
So it looks
So
like a
yeah,
regular
yeah.
well.
This is weird for you guys because yeah, you've like messed with this for so long, and then to see some people that are totally fresh with this because Booster and I play a totally different play set and everything, and we do such a variety of games and everything.
Now,
That,
one thing I noticed if you interact with the well, and I had this yesterday, I don't remember
I
with
like
what,
that.
but if you investigate it or
that.
pray, the little message for someone who isn't a native English speaker goes pretty quickly. I have a hard time reading that. I have to like interact with it a couple of
Yeah.
times.
That was surprisingly fast, actually. That was like
Yeah,
that's
it's like
crazy fast.
3 seconds, 5 seconds or something, and then
Oh,
it's
not even
gone.
that. It's like a second and a half. 1, 2, 3. I guess it's like, oh, when you hovered on it, it lasted longer. We'll make sure to take a look at that.
Yeah.
So
I
here's
like
an
this little
example.
mechanic right here, though. Sorry to interrupt. I like this. I noticed this with the squeeze and with a couple other things, how it takes a little bit of time, and this bar that goes across as I'm climbing up the step there.
Oh, I
I
didn't even
like that
notice that.
mechanic. I like that mechanic. I really do.
Yeah, so that's for like things that are higher up, right? More than just so like a step, like
Yep.
a staircase.
Yeah, it's a shortcut, but it still takes a little bit of effort.
Exactly. And actually, so I just want to mention to your viewers. So what you're going to see here at the well, this is a perfect example of how your knowledge of the game makes a big difference. So you knowing what to do here or not, or the effect that what you do here, the effect that it has on the island, is completely based on the information that you have been able to gather up until this point.
Yeah.
How much have you investigated as a player? How much do you remember from the conversations that you might have had?
Mhm.
And like, what are you going to do with it? And I don't want to scare you guys too much here,
Right.
but some of the choices that you can make here affect the island, like as a whole. And this is an
Right.
example back to what I said about like player actions actually make a difference.
Well, I'm
Right.
glad that I wrote
So-
down a couple of things then.
So kind of, yeah, I was about ready to say, just like what we were talking about with Booster actually writing down notes and everything, it's totally different for a player who's going to be really detailed into the lore of the island and everything and in tune with that versus somebody who just kind of casually goes through the conversations, clicks through and, okay, what's the word that they want to find and let's move on. And then you get to something like this and you're like, okay, now what do I do? Now, I remember he was talking about something about, the water and down below and all that. So, I mean, if I go down in there, investigate the well, or if I say this whisper word, because we did that yesterday, and I think, I'm pretty sure that's where we went into that
Whisper?
tight battle there.
Now-
I can
Yeah.
only
Now, here's
look
the
and pray.
Here, I was gonna say, here's the interesting thing, right? Do you notice a difference between your context menus? What about you try communicating that with each other?
Oh,
Yeah.
our context menus.
So
Yeah,
like when
so-
you right-click the well.
Yeah, when I right-click
Oh,
it, I see
okay.
inspect, move, use,
Yeah, so I did the
investigate.
inspect. Oh, now
pray,
I inspected
and
it.
look.
Now I've got more. Nice. So I
But you-
investigated the well.
So what do you
I've
see?
got pray and look in the well, and the touch and whisper. Oh, did you say that you weren't seeing the touch and whisper?
Yeah, no, I didn't see that, so I had no idea what you were talking about.
Oh. Wow. So that's
maybe
what
Da
you mean.
Vinci. So maybe Da Vinci did something on the Isles that actually gives him the knowledge of knowing this without even
So
realizing it.
like we said, reading those books or something.
So you might have picked up a book and read about some legend that Booster's character doesn't know about, right? So
That
if you
is
were, like you
awesome.
said, if you were running around the library, I'm not going to give any spoilers because I want players to not know about this, but if you were running around the library and you were reading books, you probably stumbled on some knowledge that Booster's character didn't.
Yeah, because he was. I was saying yesterday to Da Vinci, like, Da Vinci, what are you doing? You're just walking around. He was reading a couple of books on ground. I was like, oh, I didn't do that. So that's probably where yeah.
True.
I should have done that probably.
Yeah, because as I right click on this well, my options are inspect, move to, use. Then I have investigate the well, pray at the well, look in the well, or touch and whisper that.
Yeah. So what
name.
does looking do? Too far down. Oh, too far away. Okay.
If I look, it says too far away.
Right. So you can whisper, right? And I guess you have
Inside
to
the
write
well,
something
there are
then.
5 items in the well, not that deep down, so that you could probably reach them.
Wait, you can see that? Oh.
There are 5 items inside the well, not that deep down though, so you could probably reach them.
Can you see what they
away.
are?
It says step away. Oh,
Um,
remove an item. There we go. Got it. Just before your fingers touch the surface, you hesitate. Do I proceed or do I step away? I'm going to lose a finger. Here we go. Ooh, as your finger breaks the surface, you feel a small pull towards the bottom of the well. Only one item can be removed. A golden brooch, scroll case, small chest, or a teapot. Oh, a dragon eye ruby.
the
Now,
teapot
I know
is
that conversation...
yeah.
Sorry, I was listening too intently to what you had to say, but I was kind of clicking through there a little bit, and I know that there was something about the teapot and the tea leaves at the end of that conversation. But I think I want to probably go. Man, I think a lot of people would want to choose that ruby just because it's a ruby. I think I'm going to try the teapot.
Yeah, because then we
made your
can probably
choice.
give it back to that chieftain or something.
You feel a rush of power as you pull the teapot from the well. A surge of energy gets drawn into the well from the area around you, and the teapot dissolves in your hand.
Dissolves. Oh.
Congratulations. Oh, dude, seriously? That's it? We're done?
Oh, you're far from done.
It says you've completed the quest line to save the Solitary Isles, and in so doing, you've completed the Alpha Launch experience. What now is up to you. You can travel around, explore on your own, do some PvP arenas. All right, awesome. Huzzah. 800 experience.
Nice.
Yeah.
But you didn't get the teapot then. Oh.
Oh, wait. Whoa,
Choice has been
what is all
made.
this? What's that? You see a note over by the potions. High risk, high reward. I'm in the direst of need, and a hefty purse is ruining my posture. Come to the town of Farwood, and I'll explain. Wodrick. All right, cool.
Town of Farwood. Wodrick Umberstock.
Yep, you got it too. Awesome. So is that what you mean? Just trying to figure out what was going to happen next?
Oh, hey, yeah. I mean, you guys might know or not know based on. So this is the wonderful thing, right? Is like your character has certain choices based on the actions that you make in the game, but what you understand from those actions is based on your information and knowledge as a player, right?
Mhm.
So even so, you could whisper that phrase. You didn't end up doing it, but it was an option you had, right? I don't know
Right.
if you still have it. I can't remember. But this is kind of like where the gaming experience is different for everyone, right? So I want to give another example of this. Is in some places it can make very drastic differences. So for example, let's say you're exploring the world and you find a camp of like crusaders that are just like, they're chilling out and they're hanging out outside of this tower. Now the crusaders inform you, hey, there's like a group of evil mages in the tower. We want you to go in and exterminate them. And you're like, all right, sounds easy enough. So you head in with a band of your friends, and as you get into the tower and you kind of approach like this lobby and the people are talking to you and you're like, okay. So the immediate feeling is not hostility. So as you talk to these mages, you figure out they're not as big of assholes as the crusaders are making them out to be. And maybe the crusaders are just being over religious zealots, right? And all of a sudden you have a choice as a player, is who do you help? So if you choose to help the mages, maybe you'll build up your reputation with the mages and they'll start teaching you some of their magic. Or maybe if you help the crusaders, they'll teach you their martial arts and the ways of the light, right? And following sort of their path. So all of a sudden, a choice that you made as a character is affecting the abilities and spells that you're learning.
Right, so now Da Vinci got that, choose the teapot, and he didn't get it, but it did change something. It did give us a
dissolved
quest.
in my hands.
Yeah, so apparently
like an
I
M&M.
tried to look down earlier, but from a different angle, and it didn't work. Now I can actually pick up an item as well. Remove an item, it says. So
What does Booster choose?
I guess I should choose something else maybe to get another quest or something.
Yeah, Carlson, I am loving this too.
Proceed.
This total aspect of the game. I mean, up till now, we were kind of experiencing it kind of similar to a lot of other MMOs, and please don't, hate me for that and slash my tires with a spoon or anything, but, we were following some quest lines, we were killing some things and stuff like that, but this total aspect that we've uncovered the last, say, half hour or so just totally opens it up, to where every single person just has a totally different experience.
I'm gonna
Just
choose for the
on a
dragon's
totally
eye
different
ruby.
level.
Because I know
Yeah.
the dragon is some sort of religic something. It's like a god or whatever. I think. So I'm gonna choose that one. Major choice.
Yeah,
You feel a rush
I was
of
like
power.
scratching my head when Booster said he couldn't see what I was looking at.
You feel a
but
rush
now
of
it
power
just
as you pull the
totally
object
makes
from the
sense.
well. A surge energy gets drawn into the well from the area around you, and the strength is drawn from your hands as the object also dissolves. Okay, great. You feel that you have sacrificed something but not gained what you came for. Condolences. Wow, okay, so I failed, apparently. Well, that's great. And I got pretty much the same message after that. Alright, huzzah. Well, 300 XP. Okay,
Huzzah.
you got 800 or something, you said, right?
Yeah.
Choice has been made. Dawn approaches. Oh, so that's interesting. So, I guess you're not really supposed to get anything at all. Well, maybe, but not for us anyway. Alright, so let's see if there's anything else around this place, because it's quite a big island, it seems. What's that?
Yeah, there was a. Did you read the book over here, Booster?
The note? Yeah, I read a note.
You couldn't. It wouldn't let me do anything with it.
Couple of books, but there was also an envelope here, but I couldn't really interact with it.
Yeah, there's an envelope and a leather book. Something else.
And trying to interact with everything to make sure I don't miss anything.
I love all the little bitty bits of it, and sometimes you can't see it until you get like really close.
No, I wonder.
You can see the details.
Because you can pray.
Yep.
Oh wait, I have the option to remove another item. It says as well. You just keep removing items.
Yeah, I did a little bit. I can try. Consequences. The choice has been made, and you dare not reach down in that water one more time.
Oh.
What would be the consequences of such an action? I love these.
All right, so you're not allowed to do that again.
Oh, I just want to add, like, our world designer and most of the people that are involved on the team, we're like D&D fanatics and like Dungeons and Dragons, and we've been GMing and playing as players for ages. And Ethyrial is kind of built like that. Like it's more of like a role-playing campaign. You know what I mean? So like being able to like have consequences on your choices and being able to sort of like explore and find out your own way of doing things. That's kind of what the game is about, really.
Yeah.
Ooh, what is this?
Yeah. No matter what kind of group I am, I'm usually the old guy of the group. So I was probably doing Dungeons and Dragons before most people were born who play video games now.
On this side of the island, there's some sort of, I mean, I guess I could say like a, I don't know, dragon's beak or whatever. Lava, looks like.
Ooh, lava. Oh no.
I don't know what it's supposed to be. On the northwest side of the island. Doesn't seem to be much else here.
Oh. There is a little flames.
Yeah. Bit random. Probably has some lore to it or whatever.
Oh, maybe it's the eyebrow for the eye.
You what?
The eyebrow for the eye. You know, it's when you pull out your full map now that we've uncovered it. This island actually does look kind of like an eye.
It does. Sort of. Right, where do we go now? Travel back to the Farwood, I guess.
To our friend Patrick Booster over here.
No, not Patrick. To Wodrick. Oh, well, yeah, Patrick the fisherman, yeah.
Yeah, Patrick takes us everywhere. I really like the lighting in the game, though. I mean, there's a lot of fun things with the game, but the lighting is just really nice.
Oh, we appreciate that. We've spent a lot of time on, like, you know, how it feels like when you're walking around, you know. So like when it's dark, we want it to feel like it's dark, you know, and we want the different like times of the day to actually feel like it's that time of the day.
Oh yeah, if you go down in the first cavern with the rats there, you know, down in that what was that, the Port Authority, and you go down there and you like die and you lose your torch or lantern or something, you go back down there and yeah, good luck.
Yeah, it's pitch black.
Yeah.
I am not where I wanted to be. I said I wanted to go to Farwood, but I'm like all the way on in the North Forest of Farwood. Oh. All right, let's go back to Patrick. Let's go to Seaholm instead.
Where do you want to go? Is it Seaholm? Oh, flip sake. There we go. I gotta open this up. There we go. Sure, no problem. All right, there we go. I'm going to Seaholm.
Yep, I'm there too now.
All right.
I'm glad that there's some sort of fast travel. That's nice.
Yes, that's a nice mechanic also. I like that aspect. That you still have to travel a little bit to get to a boat, and the boat takes you to fast travel. That makes a lot of logical RP sense.
But did it
And then
cost copper, I think, as well, or didn't it? I think he said something
Yeah, it
about.
costs.
I think it
costs you a
takes a copper.
Yeah.
It takes a copper for it. So about fast traveling in Ethereal, actually, if you look on the grander scale, like from within the mainland, so Irumesa is so the isles that you've explored now. If you look at your map,
Mhm.
is let me just double check that I do the math correctly here. So the landmass that you have explored, in
Right.
terms of like squares or tiles, is about. I'm just double checking my math. Is about 0.1% of the mainland.
Oh, so we
Nice,
haven't
nice.
even scratched the surface.
Not a single thing. The mainland is
Nice.
so stupidly huge. But what I mean by that is I don't like people who say like we have a large world, because I mean there are games like Skyrim, for example, is big, but a lot of the places that you go are kind of like nothing, right? It's pretty, but there's not
Mhm.
much to do. Now, what we like to say is we have a very rich world, right? So when you're exploring random places, you can expect to find NPCs, caves, like people living in the trees, that kind of stuff. So the world is very big, but it's also very interactive. And the reason we can create such a big world is because of the tools that we have made. Like if you look at the entirety of the of the solitary isles that you're playing on right now, if we were to create another place of like about equal the same size and equal the same amount of content that you guys have played through and are playing right now, we could probably do that in just over a week.
Wow. Yeah.
That's pretty insane.
Well, and that kind of brings me to another thought, was because we're, where players are actually able to build their own homes and design their own communities and things like that. I was kind of wondering how that was going to fit into this structure, but now that you say that we've like barely touched any of the landmass, then that makes a lot more sense. But then that also brings up the other thing that after say players play for a couple of months, and then they hopefully it never happens, but it does in games where they lose interest or whatever. What happens to those structures then? Do they
So
stay forever?
So the plots that are available, how you get plots will depend from place to place, but usually they're bought and you buy them from the kingdom. And because you own
Okay.
property from the kingdom, you don't necessarily own it in a sense. It's kind of like owning property in England, if you know about that. Like you're essentially paying taxes on your property. So
Mm-hmm.
so if a guild has like a massive property with like guild housing for their players and like a big guild hall, that's a large stretch of land and is also costing a significant amount in taxes. And if guilds fail to pay their taxes, their territory will actually be taken back by the kingdom, eventually demolished, and be made
Okay.
available to the
Okay.
players again.
That makes sense, and that makes a good RP mechanic in it also. That is wonderful. I like that.
Yeah, so it's not just like, oh, it's now available because players have been offline. They just have to meet the requirements. So they have to pay tax to the kingdoms and ensure that they are sort of like, keeping their place in the world. So that's the way that we're doing it.
Nice. So, and Casper had mentioned something about starting the game, as far as different modes and everything, but I'm not really seeing it as that as such. But there's different areas where you can go, which are going to be a little more challenging.
Yes, exactly. So Casper, that's a good question. So essentially, when there's no like difficulty levels to the game necessarily. Like you don't choose easy, hard, normal. But what you do is you like the game is as hard as you make it. If you want to do the hardest content, well, then that's going to take a lot of effort, right? But if you want to do easier content and just kind of relax and be a part of the community, then that's your choice and that's what you can do. So that's kind of how you scale difficulty in a game like ours, right? The harder content is only available for the more hardcore players, but we don't necessarily segregate in a way where like hardcore players only interact with each other, right? Because players that focus really hard on their combat skills and want to do raiding and dungeons and stuff, they might still need like people that are good at certain professions, like maybe some dungeons, like some like cavern dungeons require actually a group of miners to go in and like mine out a path for the other players. So that's kind of like the community interaction aspect of it, where like players can't just rely on themselves because they're good at combat, because then they are combatants, they are good at combat, but what about all the other things you need to live in a fantasy world, right?
Yeah, excellent.
So I see a question here from I see a question here from Dragon Naomi. When you're blacksmithing, would you be able to enchant weapons or something like that to make unique traits on weapons? That's an excellent question. So if you take a look at our crafting and gathering video, you can have that explained very much in detail. But we have this thing called item enhancements, and the way that works is, let's say if you wanted to make a steel sword, obviously that sword would be made out of steel. However, there are other materials in the game that can be used instead of steel to create a steel sword, but with different magical properties. So for example, there's a material called Etherite steel, which is known to enhance certain stats and or types of damage. So if you used Etherite steel instead of steel, then your sword would be lighter and it would also be better for certain things. So as a blacksmith, the materials that you use tweak the items. So the way that works is that materials have their own properties. So the resulting item, so the sword that you end up with, is based on the materials that you use to make them. Because if anyone's here has seen the crafting system, like when you go to a workbench, it gives you like this obviously heavily inspired by Minecraft window where you place materials where you want. So you need to know the actual blueprints of how to make an item, and then based on the materials you use to make them, that's what decides the magical properties of the item.
Yeah, I worked on the blacksmithing yesterday for, I don't know, probably 20 minutes or so while Booster was doing something else, and tried to make what I thought was some simple stuff, and I thought that it said a 35% chance for success, and then I realized it was a 3% chance for success. And then I tried something else, and it was like a 1% chance of success, and I was like, well, we could be here for a while.
And that's kind of the thing, right? So nothing is stopping players, like if you know a recipe or something, like nothing is stopping you from attempting to make that item. It's just you most likely won't be able to. However, right now we're adding in, it's not a part of this client right now, but for the next one, the blueprints that you get outside the workshop are going to be like bronze, like bronze armor, bronze weapons, and so on. And then if you want to make iron armors, well, you use the same recipe, but you just use iron instead of bronze, right? And if you want to make it out of steel, you just use steel instead of iron. So once you get that aspect nailed out, like you're going to have like a clear progression path on your crafting. But like I mentioned in the crafting and gathering, it's essentially like your skill always matters, and even like down the line, copper does, and that's we have 3 core principles to our crafting. One of them is no material ever truly becomes redundant. So even if you've played the game for months, right? Copper and bronze, like bronze is still bronze, and some players might want to build a massive bronze statue in their guild village. Well, what do you need to make a big bronze statue? You need a crap ton of bronze. So that way, newer players who are gathering bronze and or gathering copper and tin and melting into bronze are still relevant to the community, because players want to build and make things out of those materials. So even though you need to be higher levels in certain professions to gather some magical materials here and there, it's not like the early level materials ever become useless. We don't want that to happen, because that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's one thing. When I heard you talking about that, that was one mechanic that I thought was really, really nice, that core principle of that, because, I mean, there's so many other games out there that I've played, and I just get frustrated because I'm like, you go and you gather all this stuff, and then you blow right past it, and then you're like, okay, now what do I do with all this material? And then you're just like, and I'm like, you know what? They used to make roofs out of copper. Why can't you just make a copper roof? Why can't you use copper for this, or why can't you do that? Or you go and gather feathers, and then you're like, well, why can't you make, beds and pillows out of feathers and make it better? Or, just different things. And so many games just miss that whole point.
I mean, look at today, our modern world. I mean, yeah, the Bronze Ages were thousands of years ago, but I mean, we still use copper for our wires, right? Why wouldn't we?
Yes, correct.
I see a question in your chat here, Da Vinci, from Christopher. He's asking, does this game have PvE as well as PvP? Yes. So the game is very rich in PvE content, and actually, like, the game revolves mainly around being a PvE game, right? It's a PvE game because it's about the community interacting and solving and sort of exploring the world together. So I would say it's primarily a PvE game, but it has the PvP aspects that you want as a PvP player, right? Because you can queue for arena, you can become like, you know, a high-rated arena player. You can also, there's also guild wars. So the way that we're going to do guild wars is guilds can go to war over certain disputes that they have with each other, let's say over certain land or materials or something like that. But obviously the kingdom doesn't want you to wage war on its territory, right? Like if I live in a certain place, I don't want like two kids fighting in my backyard and like hitting each other with clubs, right? So what that essentially means is that there will be places like instance zones where guilds can actually like fight over certain disputes, and that's where you'll get like the large scale battles, like the 20 versus 20 or 40 versus 40. But the lower scale PvP content is like, you know, 2v2 arena, 1v1 arena, and 3v3 arena, and so on. And then of course like the objective based like battlefields, like capture the flag that you expect from like games like WoW, you know, like Warson Gulch and Arathi Basin and so on. So the game has both kinds of content, but the world itself is more built around PvE. It's about the players together exploring the world and building a community. Hope that answers your question.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a great answer.
Man, a lot of great information.
Yeah, this game
far
is
as
definitely
crafting
gonna
goes.
take a lot of time for a regular player, especially one that hasn't played any of the RuneScape or Tibia or anything like that. Because I played RuneScape, but never Tibia, so I don't know a lot about that. There's a lot of information to take in and a lot of unique features as well in this game that I don't think I've seen in a lot of games. So
Yes.
that's a lot to take in and to
agree.
remember. And how does that work?
But that's where I think those unique features and those unique things, you know, just like, you know, what we talked about over at the well and different things, I think that those are what's really going to push this to be its own community where people, you know, really enjoy, and you're going to have that core group of people that just are staying here. you know?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, there's so
That's
many
what we
games, like
want.
for example, RuneScape that
Yes.
still has like 100,000 people playing it every day. I mean, this is gonna be one of those games that just is gonna have a community like that.
That's what we're aiming for. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because like we're not making the kind of game where we just kind of want players to like jump in and out, like play it for a couple of weeks and then quit and then maybe come back at some point. Like it's not like an action-packed play through the content kind of game. It's more a game where you make your own content, right? And like we had to talk about this in our team, like back when we played World of Warcraft very actively, like we had this talk where like, okay, so if World of Warcraft had some of the features that we have in our game, we'd probably still be playing it to this day, right? If there was like an expansive housing system, in addition to the fact that like players could like interact more with each other and interact with the world, there would be no reason for us not to play that game. It's just that we haven't played an MMORPG yet where we feel like we get that level of like community interaction that we want from a game. And that's why we're making this game. Like the basis of making this game is purely selfish. It's because we want to play it. That's the main reason we're making this game, is because we want this game.
And that's kind of what you want from a developer as well. You want them to be so invested and excited about the game, because that means, you know, it's really something special. It's gonna be something that they are gonna put everything
Very
into.
different, yes.
And that's the reason we haven't gone for any publish. Like we have developed tools and stuff that are like I just said, like we could create the entire Solitary Isles again in like a week if we wanted to. Like we have created tools that are very efficient for creating content. So it wouldn't be that hard for us. Like I used to work as a business analyst, and like I've like sold stuff to clients and stuff. Like I know that part of the game, right? So I could, in theory, set up a business case for this game and go get us a publisher, right? I could do that if I wanted us to, you know, make money off of the game that way. But the problem is, the reason that we're doing this as indie developers is because we want to have full control, right? We don't want a publisher telling us, oh, this you need to make it like this because that's more popular today, right? Or you need to make this change and it needs to be done within a month. Or you need to release the game in 6 months, even though it's not ready because we want to start making money on it. No, that's not what we want to achieve with this, right? We want this to be a game where we have full control. We make all the decisions and we make those decisions based on what we want to see and also based on like feedback from the community, right? People that played in the last closed alpha, we actually have a streamer today that's going to play the game. His name is Teeth Gaming. He's a Tibia streamer. He played in the last alpha, and it'll be very exciting for us to see like a lot of the feedback that he and his community made in the last alpha is already implemented for this one, right? So they'll notice that we do actually listen, like we do actually care.
Well, you guys were listening yesterday when we were trying to work on a few things there, and it was like instant.
That's just how we work.
I know. And
we
Chris
don't have a life.
Yeah, in my chat, Chris has another question about the crafting stuff. And
yeah, so I see Chris's question. As far as crafting goes, I know that in other games that you have played, if you really like the look of one set of equipment, but you really want the stats of another, can you make one set look like the other? So the short answer
Yeah, I
to that,
believe
Chris,
there is, Mr.
no.
Kingbo.
And the reason so what Chris is asking about, for anyone confused, is something like a
I'll ask him after
transmogrification
this.
system that you might expect from other games. So it's like making your armor look like another set of armor, for example. And the reason we don't want that in Ethyrial is actually because we want the gear that you wear to be representative of how people analyze you as a character, right? So if I walk past you and you're wearing like full mithril gear, and I see that, like, I want to be able to identify that right away, right? I don't want to have to guess what kind of gear you're wearing because anything could be transmogged, right? Because you see this in games where like someone can have like full end game legendary armor on, but they've transmogrified themselves into wearing a bikini. You know what I mean? And then it's like, okay, but that kind of breaks the immersion for us because like that high-end game armor that you made, we want that to be recognizable. You know, we want that to be a thing that like when people see, they're like, oh, that's that set. And then people that are knowledgeable at the game, they know what kind of strengths and weaknesses that set has. Oh, this is a player that's like really resistant to magic damage, for example. As soon as you add transmogrification, you remove that level of like sort of instant analyzation that it does. That's just or I guess my opinion as the game designer and kind of decision that I've made on the lead game design. Because even though it's cool to be able to edit armor or like being able to look like however you want, there needs to be certain limits to it, right? So we're going to add ways where you can add like, let's say if you have like a steel armor and you have steel pauldrons, we want to add a way for you to maybe add like an ornamental piece to your pauldrons, right? So maybe you add like a badge or like your guild emblem or something like that, but we still want it to be recognizable that you're wearing that piece of armor. And that's important to us just from the core of our game's design and immersion that we're trying to create.
Yeah, because Booster kind of mentioned yesterday about, you know, how you can have the base armor and then you can have the shoulder pieces and the other pieces and you know, kind of
a belt and wrist armor and shoulder pads. That's pretty cool that you can have all these different types of things. A mantle as well, necklace. There's a lot in there that you can choose.
Now there is something that I'm go ahead.
No, go ahead, sorry.
There's something I'm seeing here on I tried to do this automation crafting for multiple attempts, which is what I would assume that would be, so that whenever you finish crafting, then it would go right into the next attempt. And it didn't do that.
So if you try to click craft there, can I just take a look at what it does?
Yep. So I queued up 5 attempts, and it just kind of stops after the 1 attempt.
Okay, that'll be.
I know that's probably pretty simple. Yeah.
Oh, that'll be fixed by the next time we play the game if that's the case. Yeah, there you go. I'll fix that right now. So, I see another question here from Dragon Ayame. So, let's see. Thank you for the prompt replies and sorry about all the blacksmith question. Oh, that was the question. Well, no worries. You don't have to apologize for any questions because we love answering questions no matter what it's about. Mr. Kingbodes is asking, for the infamy system, are players able to attack NPCs like shopkeepers, villages, or guards? Yes. They are. And players can change the political landscape of the world by doing things like that. However, don't expect this to be easy, right? Like I said, you're not special. You're just an adventurer in a world with millions of other people, theoretically, right? So you're like, you trying to attack like a well-guarded town with like military trained personnel. And think about this
Yeah.
too. Imagine if I'm like the king of a certain kingdom, right? And I hear that bandits are attacking my town. Well, I'm going to send out a patrol to wipe them out. So this is the kind of stuff that's going to be happening. We already have behaviors in place where this happens dynamically. So if you as a player are trying to kill shopkeepers or let's just say what it is, civilians, if you're trying to kill civilians, what's going to happen is the kingdom's going to be against you. So you're going to have guards chasing you down, running you down, and well, good luck. You know, it's not going to be easy.
I remember also something from a video that you said that there's a person in the game that lights all the lampposts or something, and that you can actually kill him and get rid of the person who does that, and then the world will be dark, right?
Yeah, I mean, look at yeah, you can actually find him. His name. Oh, there. Da Vinci can see him. It's Thorbear
Yep,
Pine,
yep,
Keeper of the
yep.
Flame.
Yeah, right
Ah,
here.
the Keeper of the Flame. Yeah, I've seen him walking around.
Yeah, so he lights all the lanterns, and actually now, because it's now we're in the evening, once it starts getting more, like once the sun starts rising, he's gonna walk around and turn them off because he doesn't want to waste fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So-
pretty cool.
He has a routine. He's a living person, and that's what we want NPCs to be. Like, we don't want them to just be like, oh, this person is just a random name in a town. We want everyone to have a purpose. And actually, there
Yeah.
are quests, interactions, and events and information within Ethereal Isles for every single person that you see. Like, you might not have discovered it, but everyone here plays a role somehow. And this is just a tutorial island, right? This is just something we've created to, like, let players experience like the initial concepts of the game. This is amplified 100-fold once you get to the mainland.
It's gonna break our
Now,
minds.
one thing, when I zoom down in on this, from this perspective, it's kind of okay, but you're always going to be from this perspective. So what I'm seeing is this is kind of okay out here, but then now my character's all the way at the top of the screen. And I would think, I'm sure, you know, somebody's probably brought this up before, but I would think that if somebody wanted to go all the way down, to zoom all the way down in, then they would probably almost want, you know, near a first-person perspective, so the screen would kind of shift more up and kind of down and forward.
Actually, a
If
fair
that
point.
makes
Yeah,
sense.
I'll
If
write
that makes
down.
sense.
It makes
Oh,
If
yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, that's something I noticed as well when you zoom in, yeah.
So zooming in doesn't center on the character, essentially.
Correct. That's one thing. And then also if it could kind of I don't know, maybe balance more horizontal as you come down, if that's an option.
Yeah,
You know,
so
'cause
the character is more centered on the screen, essentially. Like,
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you know, one thing that we were talking about, because we've noticed in a couple other games. I mean, there's some games that, you know, there's just so much things on the screen and the loading and the cutscenes, the movies, and all this other frilly stuff that bogs down the computer on the loading. And that was one thing that Booster and I noticed yesterday. This game loads so fast into, you know, whenever we would crash, you know, hopefully people aren't crashing too often, but whenever we'd have to exit and come back and everything for whatever reason, this game loads really fast.
Yeah, and that's part of that
that's
bandwidth
really
and
nice.
everything. We appreciate
Yeah.
that. So that's part of that bandwidth and everything that we've talked about too, where like we want the game to, you know, we want the game to be efficient. So like your walk right now, the areas that you can walk in is a pretty large section, because these we made the Solitary Isles a long time ago, but all like the Eye of Ethyrial and all those places that you were are actually on the same map. So right now you haven't just loaded like this part of the map, you've loaded the entire Solitary Isles. So that's why there's no like rendering when you're walking between places.
Yeah,
right?
that's nice.
That's how the main world is going to be too. You're actually going to load up and really quickly massive parts of the game world, because we're using the cache very effectively. So so that's another reason that like, because that was really important to us, because even if we have a large
Yes.
world, we have to make sure that it feels like it's like one connected thing. If you have to load between areas, that ruins the immersion for us.
Yes.
Da Vinci, you
And
also
what is
have
that
the
experience going to change when it goes from just a couple of people on the, you know,
No,
on this
same
area
experience.
to, you know, a lot?
Same experience.
Da Vinci, you also have the Umbral Concord quest?
Well, have you guys spoken to Wadrick? I'm gonna answer a few questions. So, does the game have controller support, or is it just mouse and keyboard? So the game is mouse and keyboard, and the reason for that is one, you can add a lot of hotbars. So on the left side of the hotbars, you can see there's like the three lines or whatever. You can add additional hotbars and so on if you wanted to. And so we just wouldn't know how to map that to a controller setup, right? Because you can have so many keybinds and stuff for skills, etc. And the other reason is simply just budget, right? Because we're a small team and we don't actually have any experience developing games for like consoles and stuff. That's why Ethyrial is strictly a PC game. It's strictly mouse and keyboard because that's just what we know how to do. And we don't want to create any unrealistic expectations for everyone and say like, yeah, we'll do everything, because that's just not true. We're not going to be able to do that. So sticking to PC and sticking to mouse and keyboard, that's just who we are. And since we are built on Unity as a core, and we've built our entire framework from there, we can easily build the game. Although now in the alpha it's just Windows, but it will also be available for Mac and Linux as well.
Yeah, good.
So Da Vinci, you still have to you have to still talk to the wizard, right? To the wobble dude.
Yeah, I did, but I couldn't get him through. If you look at my my NPC chat, it says, "Are you interested in hearing more?" I said yes, and then I tried to say the dangerous place, and yes, I'd like to hear more. And he said goodbye.
Yeah, if you just say yes and nothing else, you I think it continues for me anyway.
Well, that's why I tried.
Just click through the conversation.
All right. Wherever.
Because I have now the quest to have to find cyanide for him.
And yeah, Chris is asking about those other things, which I know that you've said, you know, in one of the blogs, I think, or something.
Up here.
That that was something we were gonna do.
Yeah, we're not afraid of big events, Chris. So festivals and holidays are going to be a common occurrence, but events are going to happen, and how players respond to those events will essentially shape how that event takes place, right? So if players are not able to stop a certain demonic ritual, then demons will be summoned into the world, and that's largely going to affect, maybe one area becomes infested with demons and is now a much harder area to gather resources in because it's under constant demon oppression. So then there might be another quest after that for players to stop the demonic impression, but that's going to be harder than just stopping the ritual. So it's the players have to react to what's happening in the world. And we're going to make events like this all the time because it's so easy for us to do. We have created all the tools we need to create events like this. Like I was telling earlier to Booster and Da Vinci, we can even spawn massive bosses in a town that we can take control over as developers. So you'll have a game designer controlling that boss without people even knowing. So that's kind of the level of events that we want to have within our game. I'm also quickly going to answer here for Mr. Fox. So,
I was just laughing. I could get one cyanide, or I could get 14,000 apples.
And that is legitimate. If you were to gather 14,286 apples, you would progress the quest.
Well, let's not do that one.
Let's not do that one, no. So, Mr. Fox, will there be pets and pet battles like WoW? No, there's no sort of although there will be parlor games within Ethereal, and we love that kind of stuff, right? So you can sit down in a tavern and you can play dice with your friends or NPCs. We're going to have things like custom dice games and custom card games within Ethereal that are just a fun everyday activity you might do with guild members or something like that. We know that people are going to gather around the PC, have a couple of beers with their friends on Discord, and just play parlor games. So that's important to us. But a more intricate Pokemon-like mechanic of pets and pet battles, we do not have any plans of creating, to answer that question. And that again is more of what we feel is immersive, but also for what we feel is capable within our budget. So with that, okay, so Dragon Ayami asked a really good question. Will you be able to actually build a house on a plot of land, or will it just be pre-made selectable structures? So you build the walls and floors from scratch. So you place the walls and floors almost like you would in imagine in The Sims, right? Like, but
Yep.
the only difference being that you as a player like place the wall and then you hammer at it and you like build up the wall. So the foundation, walls, and floors that you have in your house is completely based on how you want to build it. If you build a staircase up to the second floor and build flooring there and you have enough support to support from below, then yes, you can build a house however you want. You can use a shovel to dig down into the ground, and you can have a lot of players. That's going to take a lot of time, right? But you can have a lot of players on a guild plot digging in order to create like a wine cellar. That's how dynamic the building system is. And that's already implemented. That's not something I'm saying like, oh, that's how we're going to make it work eventually. No, that's how it works right now. That's
Yeah, that's
already
something I'm
in-game.
pretty interested in the
Yes,
house
yes.
building. Will probably take forever to do, but that's something I'm always liking games, building your own little house. And I also wonder, like, will it be like protected in a way from other players,
Yes.
as in
So
chests and stuff?
Yeah, so the housing, so here's the thing. So the housing is in the open world, and like we talked about earlier, the open world is big. Players can walk into your plot if you don't have it like fenced and gated down, right? But if you have like a gate or doors and stuff, like you can choose which players are allowed on your estate, right? So you can say like, okay, guild members are allowed, or only these specific kind of people. So that's all. So we have an estate system and a building system. The estate system is who owns the plot of land and who can manage the plot of land. So a guild can also be an owner. So if the guild is the owner of an estate, then guild members of a certain rank are allowed to manage that estate, say like the guild master and the officers, right? And on a guild plot, they actually choose which areas they can designate to players. So I can say, okay, this 20x20 piece of land, I'm going to give that to Booster. This 30x30 piece of land, I'm going to give to Da Vinci because, you know, he did more work than Booster in gathering materials and getting us the money needed for the guild plot.
Nah,
and then
that
you
won't
can
happen.
reserve and then you can reserve areas in between as the guild, so you can keep those as infrastructure slots because that's where you want to build. That's where you want to build the roads. That's where you want to build. You know, so guilds have all the freedom to design their plots however they want. That's the estate system, and then the building system is essentially where you place certain structures, right? Okay, I'm gonna build a storehouse here, so I build the walls like this, and Christopher, I'm going to say right away, like in Ultima, which ran with estates plots, do you worry about eventually running out of land space? No, because every realm, and we would rather make more servers than overcrowd our servers, right? Because running servers for us, because we made all the network for code from scratch, it's all run in the cloud, so it's incredibly cheap. So we just boot up Azure instances, Microsoft Azure, for those that are aware with the cloud service they have, and we can have a server running in minutes. So we'd rather set up new servers so that servers don't become overpopulated. Of course,
Yeah,
we'll still allow
really
friends
nice.
of certain players. Yeah, so we'll still allow friends of certain players to have their friends join the server, right? Because we don't want to be those guys who are like, oh, because you're too late to the party, you can't play with your friends. So we're going to
Right.
make a system for that where players can like say, oh, okay, like every player can say have like 4 friends that they can invite to the server. And then those players will be granted access. So we'll find some systems and ways around that, but we're not afraid of running out of space because there's going to be a lot of it. And also it's going to be hard to get. Like, you know, buying land from the kingdom is expensive. And you know, and not only buying it, but you need to have a certain reputation, right? Like the king is not just going to sell land to random nobodies who have money. He wants to make sure that the people who live there are like respectable people that he actually wants on their lands. So what you're going to be seeing is you're going to have more than one way to get plots. Some might be like reputation based, some might be event based, some might be purely money based. There are already houses within towns that you can buy. So you can buy, like right now actually, you can buy a house on the Solitary Isles. You can buy a house in Farwood that's available for sale.
Booster
I don't
food.
expect
Yeah, I see it.
I don't expect any players to be rich enough to do that, but essentially what the way the housing system works in our game is that we're not worried about running out of space because of how our servers are set up and what we're planning to do in the long run. You did also ask about the magic system. So magic in Ethereal is based off of the ley lines. So underneath the world, there's these magical ley lines left from the Titans from when the world was created, which are essentially enhancers of magical power. The magic that you learn in the game is completely based off of which magical skills you decide to learn and which NPCs you become like interact with. So if you have like let's say you're like practice elemental magic like pyromancy and animancy and so on, then you're going to be able to learn high level like air spells and fire spells, and you have to find the right people to sort of teach you that. But in addition to elemental magic, there's like, you know, kind of like shadowy, like dark magic. There's holy magic, you know, like spiritual magic. There's like druidism. So there's like all the magic niches that you might expect from a typical fantasy world, but they're all like described in the lore and like thematically make sense with the way that magic works in our game, right? With the ley lines and everything. And I don't want to spoil anything there because that's more like what the players discover as they play, but that's a general introduction there.
Let's see. There's also a question about mounts possibly later in the game, or fast travel. Fast travel is already sort of in the game with the fishermen's, at least what we have seen. Will there be mounts?
We're on a kind of area that's kind of like islands, and so the fast travel has been a boat so far, which makes perfect sense. I love that.
So, fast travel, that's an interesting aspect, right? Because fast travel, oh, Tim T, don't worry about being picked. The next alpha is for everyone. So next weekend, everyone can play the game.
Nice.
As for fast traveling, here's the thing. Fast travel won't be available everywhere because, like I said, certain materials are only available certain places, for example, right? So, but if you could like go out, mine iron in a place that's rich in iron, and then teleport to a place that's not rich in iron, it kind of ruins the entire purpose of supply and demand, right? Because why would there be any supply and demand if you could instantly teleport materials across the world, right?
Correct.
So, the way fast travel works in Ethyrial is for islands and stuff, you have things like boats to take you through places, right? Of course, but you have to get to the harbor, you have to get to the boat, and the boat has to take you there. Additionally, there is a Mages Guild, and the Mages Guild have a lot of purposes in the game. They're actually a big unit of power, like they have a lot of influence, but they can not only ensure your item slots, so like they can put like magical enchantments on your item to make it so that if you die and that item is lost, it's instead teleported to the Mages Guild, and then you can go to the Mages Guild and buy it back. But in addition to that, the Mages Guild do have a way of teleporting. However, the teleportation system works in a way where obviously you can't bring a bunch of stuff with you. So you can bring like the stuff that you have equipped, like your weapons and armor potentially, but you can't haul like a bunch of trade materials and stuff because that's just not how that teleportation magic works. And trust me, I can nerd out and go into details if you guys want, because we were all D&D DMs, so we got the lore covered on this. So don't worry about that. This entire world that you're playing in was actually so Irumesa was and is a D&D campaign, right? As Jellyberry and as like friends of people that we DM for and stuff have had intricate long campaigns within this world. So it's a fleshed out world in terms of like lore. So that's just, you know, that's a little bit of a piece on the fast traveling, and it's important for us. So if you want to transfer materials over large distances, well, trader type players might rent caravans, right? So you'll have caravans that you can escort. As for the mount question, this is kind of undecided right now. I think we do want to add mounts down the line, but at least for the early stages of the game where we're kind of still like running around exploring and trying to figure stuff out, I think we're going to have very limited mount systems. Like we'll have caravan systems where they can take you from one place to another quickly, kind of like you had, if you remember, like flight paths in WoW, where you can you can talk to a Griffin Master and have them fly you to another Griffin Master. We might have something similar to that, but large-scale fast travel won't be available, at least not at launch, and we'll see what we're going to do about it, because we first want to see the effect that it has on the player base, right? We want to see if everyone's basic, because if we ask right now, like, do you want to see mounts, right? Or like, do you want to travel faster?
Right.
99% of players would say, hell yeah. You know, it's like asking players, like, do you want us to increase your movement speed? The answer will almost always be yes, because they just want to move as fast as possible. But what we have to think about is the actual implications on the game's design. Because as a player, you don't necessarily think about just how much like a fast traveling system might affect the entire economy of the game. An example.
Booster, have you found your way over there?
No. I think that's actually
the person we're supposed to talk to.
No, I think over there is actually, if you look at the world map, I think that's the library that's burning, and we can see it somehow.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what it is.
Yep.
I was walking around a
You're
bit and I was confused about it as well, but
So, Christopher asks, since there's islands, will there be possible naval battles? So on the mainland, which is Irumesa, which you'll get to after the Solitary Isles, there's no islands per se. You're actually on a big mainland, like a massive continent. So there's no naval content at launch. What we mean by islands is more like smaller scale islands that you might travel to from a boat or something for a specific quest.
yeah, you can just try to climb out. Just have to wait a little bit.
Well, Mr. King Bowed, you might realize that although you think I might have meant a wyvern, it's very easy to see you're a horde player. So I said griffin because they're more, it's like I wasn't referring to any necessary game, right? It's just griffins are griffins. Jokes aside, since you're D&D DMs, I have a question. Can I seduce the animals? Good question. Great question. So the game is not, of course, it's not like D&D, like online. That's not essentially what it is. But I mean, there are certain things you can do. I mean, of course, you can skin the animals. You can, there are things you can do with the animals. But essentially, there are ways to interact with animals that go sort of beyond just like, skinning and eating them. There are some animals that might be enchanted, like magically, some that you might be able to communicate with. Now, I don't want to say if you can necessarily seduce some of them. I'll have to see what Eric, our world designer, does with that. I don't know what kind of fetishes he has himself, but you'll never know. But as of right now, I don't think there's any animal on the Solitary Isles that you can seduce. The animals, Corruptor says. Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, hey, Corruptor, how's it going, buddy? There we go.
It's kind of hard to get. It's easy to get
I'm
stuck
trying to figure
here.
out how to get back up.
yeah, you have to find a certain path. There is a way to get back.
It was easy to get down.
Yeah,
Ooh, I challenge you to try to get to the top of the mountain.
Well, we went into a cavern. I don't know. I guess we're supposed to go to the top then?
Well,
I don't know.
Now, you're talking to Da Vinci, so
sometimes when I try
to find a area where nobody can ever get me out, now that's a lot more easier for me.
Sometimes when I try to climb something, it says invalid move. Doesn't really work sometimes. Maybe I'm not supposed to go there.
Interestingly, I mean, there's nowhere you're not supposed to go. You can go wherever you want, but well, there might be places you're not supposed to go. But actually, Da Vinci, if you open your map, I just want to note something. So just to get back on like the whole like everyone's experience might be different. You actually have quests in your log that you haven't completed that other players at this stage might have. And that might have changed what you were able to do at the Eye. It might have changed what you know about what you're currently trying to do.
Right.
So like
kill a sand creature.
For example, like, okay, so you didn't do that, which is like, okay, so what is that, right? So that's kind of the thing where like we want to have that level where players are kind of like, we want them to always have like a what if feeling, right? Like, what if I do this or what if I do this? And that's kind of what we feel drives, like what you can do as a player and what's interesting to you is like, do you want to try and find certain quests? Do you want to try and, that's kind of how the game is made.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
I know Booster got up there.
Oh, he's climbing. He's
I'm going all the way up.
Oh wait. I was like right there.
I'm finding something. Now it's flat.
Oh, if I get up on this, I can. It's like.
Oh, on a little campfire area.
Well,
that's just you trying to cheat the system. Don't try. Oh, where's Booster?
Diploma. What is this?
Booster got a diploma.
Congratulations, you made it to the top. I guess you are a rock climber or something. Now have an apple. P.S. There's no apples. Some greedy bastard. Oh, wait. It went away. Some greedy bastard took them.
There
Typically,
we go.
Mild regards someone. The text goes really quickly. Magnus Middleboo. What a name.
There we go.
Magnus Middleboo. Let's write that down. I don't know if it's important, but we'll see. Magnus.
So,
Middle
Christopher,
blue.
if there's any climbing enthusiasts in here, they might have gotten that. So Christopher asks, on the mainland, when I assume with how you're describing it, that two kingdoms could possibly go to war with each other due to the effects from what the players have done. Yes and no. Well, the short answer is yes. But the geopolitical landscape of Irumesa, once you get into the game and you start learning about it, is really complex. So I'll give you a little bit of a brief intro, but there's essentially 5 main clans, or 6. I guess 5. Don't count this. Whatever. I'll get into it. But there are major clans on the realm, and then in addition, there's the capital. The capital is currently run by the Stormshield clan, and they have done things politically to be able to be in power. Now, other clans are happy with them being in power. Some might not be so happy. And within every clan's areas, there's conflicts internally for what is going on, what they feel, how they feel, and so on. The choices the players make within these clans' territories and so on is essentially what's going to determine their growth,
Hi, Da
their
Vinci.
prosperity, and what's going on. So the geopolitical landscape is much more complicated than just like 2 kingdoms that might go to war against each other. Like Ethyrial doesn't have factions. You don't choose like Horde or Alliance, you know. Like it's a factionless MMORPG, meaning that instead of like choosing a faction to be a part of, just through your actions and the reputations that you're building throughout the land, you're making certain decisions that might change the geopolitical landscape. So some players, you know, might be sort of like not necessarily enemies in a way that they would kill each other, because all the clans are technically at peace, technically. But of course, as with anything political, even if you look in our own world, things are often more complicated than you might think. And that's kind of what we're drawing on too. Like, we want the political part of the game to be like this thing where players will actually have to try and figure out what the heck is going on, and what can happen, and how does it happen, and what can we do to stop it or help it or further it. So, so yeah, there could be wars, but just from a geopolitical standpoint, it's much more complicated than that. It's not going to be as simple as like, oh, I declare war on you, Kingdom 2, you know. So yeah, stay tuned for that. A lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of really interesting aspects, and everything is, you know, like you keep saying, it's all based upon, you know, how the players interact with the world. Wait,
That's
there we go.
that's the summary of it. That's the summary of it.
You're finally making it up?
Yeah, you know, old dude takes a long time, man.
I'm trying to get back down.
Light the fire.
Trying to find the location where I went up. Somewhere
Yeah,
around
campfire.
here.
Use the campfire. There we
Yeah,
go.
campfire doesn't do much. There's a ladder
Oh,
on the
well.
floor though.
It keeps me warm at night.
Ah, there we go.
There we go.
And we still haven't found the cyanide that we're supposed to find in here. Let's see, let's read that quest again.
Yeah.
Um,
Corruptor also has a channel too that he streams
getting
too, so
cyanide from the old mines.
sounds like he's enjoying the today's you know, question and answer phase.
Hmm. Wait, I
Accidental
thought we were
invasions
supposed to be
are
in this
definitely
bit.
A possibility. Where did you get that? Made it up to the top, but I didn't get anything that said
That's the letter.
a letter. Oh, there we go. Oh, the diploma. I could use a diploma. That's great. Or something. Yep, there's no apples. All right. Well, if there was an apple, then that'd be 14,285 apples to go, because we're not finding the cyanide.
Yeah, maybe we have to take the apple route. I'm afraid to say it, but maybe.
All right.
Please don't.
I mean, I got
I
yesterday.
wouldn't- I
Yesterday,
wouldn't-
I got 120 of them, so it shouldn't be too hard.
I mean, I'd actually love to see that. Just like we can have just like a freaking showcase reel of you picking apples. You never know.
1,000 apples.
can you
14,000
actually
of them.
pick apples or only pick them up from the sacks? Because that's what I've been doing. There's a lot of sacks of
Currently, I mean,
apples.
there's just around in the sacks, and they respawn every now and then. So I mean, if you want to make like a apple gathering route and track down the respawn timers, you could do that, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, after
that
you
might
built
be
a house or something
Oh,
and some
there we go,
storage,
another
yeah.
one.
that might be yeah, exactly, and that might be easier than what you're trying to do with the cyanide. No, I'm just kidding. Look, this is kind of like, so we try to give, and for people that might realize in chat, like within our quest introductions or like our quest descriptions, we typically
Mhm.
try to give only enough information
Right.
for you to have a general idea of where you might need to go.
Right.
Because that's what questing is to us, right? Like
Correct.
it's like I missed that from old games when I would just like open the quest log and I'd have to read and understand what it means to be able to like know where to go. And I understand that, you know, over time, of course, as players play the game, like there's going to be like guides on the internet for like say this to this NPC and do this to that.
Yep.
But the way that we're planning on counteracting that is just by being assholes and changing the quests.
There you
So,
go.
like, so even like the standard quest, so like if one certain route has become very popular for players, and that's kind of like what everyone does, then we're going to analyze, okay, why is this the path that people always take? Is it the easiest path? Is it the one that makes the most sense? Or is it just because every guide on the internet says to make this? All right, if it's the latter, if it's like every guide on the internet says, okay, pick 2 apples and talk to this guy, and then, you know, use a spell here,
And you
then we're
just
just going to
change it.
change that. We just change it. We're like, all right, F you. Here's just like a giant middle
Awesome.
finger to whoever wrote that guide. You know, it's like, no, because we want to try and keep it somewhat relevant. And because all the quests are made from the tools that we have, like the quest editor specifically, like I can right now jump in and change the quest that you guys are currently on, right? And I can do that in a heartbeat. And we can do that with any quest or task within the game. So it's not hard for us to change either. And the most important thing, that's why we love being an indie developer. We're not afraid of changing it. Like, can you imagine the absolute like chaos that would happen if like someone changed a quest in a big MMORPG in some big company? You know, like hands would be thrown. But for us, we don't have to care. We don't have lawyers. We don't have, you know, like we don't have to care about anything. We can do whatever we want. And that's the kind of game we want to make, right? I mean, because that's what truly creates an opportunity for us to make a community. Like we can interact with the community. Like if a lot of people tell us like, hey, this particular kind of quest is like, we just don't like it. Like no, and we look at the stats and like no one's completed it. No one knows how it works. And if it's just because people can't figure it out, we don't care. We'll keep it in there. Because that's what I said about like the legendary item too. Like if no one finds it, I don't give a crap. It's still going to be available to be found if someone manages to solve all those riddles. But if no one does, okay, too bad. It's still there. But for us, that like, I don't know about you guys, but to me, it's like, as a player, that's just so cool because then it's like, there's always like a mystery, you know? There's always a change. There's always something that's happening that's like, you don't feel like you get to know everything. And I will promise you that you will, no matter how much you play our game, because we're constantly working on it and evolving on it, there's not going to be a single point in time where you can lean back and say, I know everything there is to know about this game. That will never happen. Even I, as the lead game designer, will never know everything that is about the game because we have so many things that more team members are also going to be working on creating, right?
No, I like that aspect that you can kind of change things. I think that's also going to keep, you know, your player base really excited about the game because how can they get bored if you're able to change things and make new quests all the time, or even change the old quests on what you're supposed to do?
Exactly. And then areas, so old quests, so an example of that, like an old quest in an old zone that a lot of players have taken a part of, maybe we'll change the zone based on the most common decision the players made. So if most people decided to kill a certain NPC, well then maybe we'll make a permanent change on the servers where that NPC is actually dead, like they're gone and no other player will ever be able to see them. And then the only people that know about that NPC are the people who tell the stories and are like, yeah, back in my day when I played Ethyrial, there was this guy named, you know, Rude, you know, but it's like that kind of creates the community aspect of it and the storytelling.
Yeah.
Eventually, you still in the mines? In the thing?
Yeah, we're supposed to find the Marcus guy, but
yeah, I was almost dead. I had so many spiders following me.
Good. I was trying to remember how to get back out of here, though.
Yeah, I'm outside right now, healing up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought we were supposed to go to this mountain, but now the quest thing says old mines. I guess we have to fight
Yeah.
into those within the mountain.
Well, let's see. And then Chris also asked, Chris, we answered that earlier when you wasn't here, so you don't get the answer. You can rewatch it. No, I'm just kidding. It's about a class-based or a skill-based system. But yeah, so I mean, just real quick, yeah, yeah, you're gonna start off with a type, but it's gonna evolve as you play the game, based on all your choices and what you generally do.
Yeah, so actually right now for the alpha tests, that's where you choose the archetype, like when you're on the boat, because we want players to just have like a quick way to jump in and test some content for us. But when on the release, what the character progression is going to look like is when you make your character, you're going to be prompted almost in like a cutscene fashion, but more like a text-based, where you will answer questions about your character. You will answer questions about their
Okay.
background, like what they
Nice.
were as a kid, what they did this and
Oh,
that, and
nice,
like
nice.
so you'll build up a background, like almost from like a lore, like RP perspective for your character. And then
Mm.
once you land on the solitary isles, that's the background you're coming from. So what you start with is based on that background. And then what you develop beyond that is just based on how you play the game.
Man, there we
And I
go.
know what people are going to say. It's like, how do you balance that? How do you do this? How do you do that? What if I want to change something? Well, too bad. It's your character.
You gotta
Things are
pick the
constantly
right
changing.
things at the beginning then.
Right.
No, you don't.
Sort
That's the
of.
wonderful thing about it, because things are in a constant flux of change, and it's never too late for you as a character to explore new things, right? I mean, right now for Da Vinci, for example, if he suddenly wanted to dual wield swords, he could do that. And then eventually, like over time, as he's like interacting with different NPCs and trainers and so on, he could learn skills for those swords. Now, when he swaps to a bow, he still has some of his like bow skills that he can use, like the tracker arrow to find players, or this and that. So there are ways for you to build your own kind of hybrid class. And we do realize that because of this, there are going to be, and we're fully aware of this, there are going to be balancing issues, right? There are going to be certain characters that feel more powerful than others. However, that's just not what our game is about. Yeah, there's going to be 1v1, 2v2, and 3v3 arena where people are going to be min-maxing like crazy, but then that's just how they like to play the game, and we don't want to stop them from being able to play the game that way, right? Just because a player is slightly stronger than you because of the choices that he's made in his adventures
Oh, Da
doesn't
Vinci.
mean that the game is ruined for you. Because you have your way of playing the game. That's just our view on it, and that's what we're going to stick with. And of course, if something like, if a certain spell is super broken, we're going to nerf it, we're going to change it, that kind of stuff. That goes without saying. But just a general feeling of like the general outline of your characters, just build the kind of character that you want to build. And I can ensure you that that character will always be useful, right? You're not going to have to pass certain DPS checks to be allowed into a group. Well, some guilds might be that hardcore, but like, if they are, that's just their choice, right? That's just their choice. But we don't want it to become one of those, like, oh my god, I remember from some of the games I played when it's like, it started becoming this thing about, oh, look at your gear score, look at your item level, look at your like, and it's like, oh my god, are you kidding me? Like, just, dude, I know how to play the game. Just let me play with you guys,
Yeah, true.
Yeah, there's always gonna be people who will make a group like that.
Oh, I love this question from Christopher. I've been wanting to talk about this. I've been hoping someone was going to ask it. So Christopher's asking, will it be possible for players to create guild-based quests? Yes. Guilds can have their own... so we're planning to create a system where guilds can like set up their own task board, so they can do so internally for members, so they can set up like a guild master, like a project manager. See, this is where real life skills come into play. If you're good at like organizing and like managing people, so you can set up tasks on the board where you can like assign different people in the guild different tasks. Additionally, what we want to do is we allow guilds to open up like an official board or like a task board for players outside the guild. So let's say the guild really needs like iron. Okay, well then the guild can set up quests for like gather 20 iron, this and that, 20 iron ore, and for every 20 iron ore that a player brings, they're granted like a certain amount of gold or something. So that's what we consider more like tasks and not so much quests. The difference between a task and a quest in Ethereal, not so much on the Solitary Isles, but when you get to the mainland, is a quest is typically like trying to find, trying to solve a big mystery.
There's a ladder
That's what
here.
quest is. Ooh, there you go.
There's
So
a big
it's trying
mystery.
to solve a big mystery and trying to like find certain places. But then you have like the tasks, which are more like the thing you would do like when you're helping out in a village, right? Like go kill the wolves that are terrorizing nearby villagers, or gather iron ore for like the blacksmith. Those are more tasks than quests, right? So guilds will definitely be able to set up tasks, but quests are kind of more reserved for like the large world things. And maybe some guilds will build up to the influence where they can affect certain decisions in the kingdom. That might happen, but there's going to have to be some seriously dedicated player bases for us to reach that level. We have all the tools to do that. Like, we can make guilds have a very big effect on the world, but we want to make sure that it's hard to do. We want to make sure that players really have to dedicate time to it and play well together to be able to interact with the world in that manner. Because that's just how it would be in real life, right?
There we go. There we go.
Oh.
Found something.
Where you went? Where'd you go?
North.
Ah, there you go. Oh, there's like a portal thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was a good 3-hit arcane slash right there, Booster.
Yeah, I finally understand how that imbued weapon
Oh,
and
the old
such
mine.
works.
The old mine. There we go.
Yeah, the imbue weapon is just a buff, so you don't have to keep recasting that.
Yeah, and in the first live stream yesterday, I kept like recasting it every 5 minutes, but now I'm like,
I know,
oh,
it
it's
was driving-
1500 seconds. Okay, I'm good.
Over there.
It was driving our lead developer crazy. He was like, dude, why does he keep recasting the buff?
I didn't realize it was all the way up there, the seconds. Well, now I know. I'm sorry.
How we doing, buddy? How we doing?
Hey, lessons learned. Oh, okay, so you guys are actually in a dungeon right now.
Oh, is it? How about that?
Ooh, I'm way down. Jeez.
Oh, hey, don't die on me.
You
man.
guys are strong. I'm not even sure if we're still following that quest.
Well, it says the old mine,
Yeah, but this is not...
floor 1.
Where does it say that?
Real.
Oh, yeah, there.
Up
Okay.
there
Old
under the
flo-
map.
Yeah. Old
the
mine
map.
for 1.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm gonna do you all a little favor here. If you guys can step out of the dungeon for just a second.
Oh, but we're having too much fun, right, Booster?
Oh, I know you're having
Back
a
to
lot
the
of
ladder?
fun.
Or, oh, yeah, back for the portal. Yeah.
All right, step back through the portal.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for trying the old mine instance. Oh.
So
Ah, nice. Under construction.
So it is finished. The old mines is fully playable, and that is actually where you get the cyanide. But since that is supposed to be group content, I am going to be joining you guys, since playing through the whole thing with 2 players is a little
Too much.
gonna be a little difficult for you.
Oh.
And also, you know, I like playing our games, so.
But Booster is just a master there. He would
Of
be
course.
fine without
Yes, I
us.
totally didn't nearly die.
No, not even close. Not even close to dying. What level are you guys right now, actually?
11.
Floating. Where did I get a floating light? What is that?
You've done a lot of stuff where you're just like, wow. I mean, you're playing the game the way we want you to. You're like exploring all this stuff and like.
Anacause.
But I love how you
Melee
don't even
range.
notice.
It's a melee. Yeah, floating light.
Yeah,
is
it's
a-
instead of a lantern, you can do that. It's actually lighter than a
that
lantern
is
as well.
cool.
Actually lights up the area more. But it's
is cool.
temporarily. It's for like 50 seconds or something.
It's a nice little companion, isn't it?
Yeah, that's nice.
All right, well, I'm gonna get my butt to you guys.
Awesome.
So.
I also
I'm
like
level
that even though I'm
12
level 11
and-
now, the spiders are still sometimes a challenge.
You're
If there's
11?
enough of
yeah,
them.
and I'm 12.
So yeah, one thing you want to be careful of is like Because the thing about Ethereal is like it's the kind of game where like if you're getting grouped up on, it's dangerous.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Even from lower level mobs, or even if you were fighting players, like if 3 lower level players gang up on a high level player, they can't kill him, because
Right.
you know there's still 3
It's just
people
the
doing
number of
damage.
Yeah. All the
attacks, yeah.
DPS.
Well, I mean, wow, I love this. I want to join these guys, but they're not even inviting me to their group. Sad.
Oh,
Oh yeah, we have to do a group invite, right?
They don't want to play with me.
Wait, do we have to go back then? I think. Yeah.
wait. All right. No,
So
because
Dragon Oyame actually said, I want to make a blacksmith shop and make weapons and armor for people. You can do that. If you have your own guild, like if you have your own housing, you can do whatever you want with it. So you can either make a house for yourself, or you can just make like a tiny,
There you go.
you can just make like a tiny storage area, and then spend most of your space on like your workshop. And you can set up like a place where you can deposit your weapons and armor and set certain prices for them, so people can buy your weapons and armor even if you're not online.
Oh, immediately
Um,
attacked.
And that's
yeah, these
kind of
guys
what Chris also said there about making an enchantment shop.
Yeah, exactly. So if you wanted to enchant certain weapons, you can list up like the things that you can do as an enchanter, and then players can come in and make those orders, and then you have to log in as a player and actual like do the job, right? Because the job doesn't get done by itself. Like a player lists a job, and then you have to log in and actually like make the enchantments. That's the general idea. So you guys are kind of lucky because I just happen to be a healer, so.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I need.
Hmm.
Because those health potions are crazy
Yeah.
expensive for me right
Man.
now.
That guy is got some armor or something, because these aren't doing very much.
Oh wow, that looks cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
There you go.
So what about the are you able to show
Ooh.
us that? Well,
Da
I guess
Vinci?
we haven't taken enough damage. You were talking about that hot potato thing?
Oh, the hot potato?
Yeah.
Let me
Or is that not all the
see.
way implemented yet?
No, it's in the game. It's just I don't have it
Oh,
on
that
this
spell, yeah,
character.
I heard about that.
Okay.
I just got a mining pickaxe, excellent quality from this guy.
That is
Wow.
a really lucky drop, actually. There you go.
I am quite lucky to have all of you here. So,
There we
Yeah.
go. Yeah,
Oh,
there's
missed a spell.
there's some spells that I remember when I like first started
Coming
out
after
working.
me. Why is he coming after me? I'm the
Oh.
dude with the bow.
because you attacked them first, I guess.
Well, but that's what
Yeah,
bow
that's
guys
something
do.
I was wondering actually as well yesterday. Is there a way to aggro
Switch
the enemy,
aggro to
like,
another
yeah, switch the
player.
aggro?
Oh, 100%. So there are like if you were to play any of the like tanking archetypes for the like the Dragon Knight and so on, they have like with the sword and shield, they have ways to like taunt enemies. They also have ways to build up more threat. Everything there's different levels of threat in the game. You have support threat, which is like healing and so on, and then you also have like damage threat, of course. Like the more damage you do, the more threat you get. And then there's also the concept of tanking threat, which is like a special kind of threat. That
Oh,
only
let's try
like
to put him in a
tanking
corner.
abilities do. Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Freaking rangers.
Yeah, right. But yeah, another thing that we've worked hard on is like you said, the lighting. So like when you have certain spells, like me casting the Spirit Bolt right now.
Ooh.
Okay, Booster, you are like dangerous.
Yeah.
When you're casting things like
Like that.
the yeah, exactly. So we wanted to like feel like you're in the environment. So like this spell should give a blue. So you're noticing how the walls around it give like off this blue hue once I start casting it.
Yeah.
So that's like the level of lighting that we want to have in our game because we wanted to feel like it
Da
just
Vinci.
makes the spells feel so much more impactful. You
This
know?
guy has another one of those pickaxes.
Really?
Yep.
Man, I should play more with you guys. You have like lucky drop rates.
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, look at that. Left click to quick loot. There we go.
There we go. We don't have to buy the good one now.
Hmm.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Mining pickaxe,
Saving a lot of
regular
money there.
pickaxe. Let's put the nice pickaxe down there. A skill boost. Nice.
So Mr. Kingbot is asking if
Oh,
I were to
appreciate it.
become. Oh, sorry.
Now
No, go
continue.
ahead. Go ahead.
Mr. Kingbot is asking if I were to become the leader of a caravan, would I be able to set the price to carry people around? Also, would the caravan only move when I'm online, or would a guild member, companion, travel, and trade? So you can hire NPCs to do work for you. So what that essentially means is
Ooh,
like
jeez.
you're good. You can essentially. So let's say a guild needs a lot of lumber, right? So there's a difference between. Oh my God, dude, you got a kite. You're gonna die.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There we go.
What?
The
Why?
thing about healing, okay, so the thing about healing in
was a lot.
Ethereal is, heals typically have like a cooldown. So you have to like time your heals, and especially as a lower level group, you have to do well in terms of like kiting and so on.
We should go back
Especially
to the
because, yeah, we're not really like, we're in this dungeon right now and we're much lower level than the actual content it's designed for. So we have to play really smart. We can still manage it. We just have to play really smart. So we got to do a little bit of pro gamer moves. Like that, this heal that I'm casting is my most powerful heal, but that has a 20-second cooldown.
Stand it.
Well, I do like
Fine.
no damage to him.
Go.
So my character started out as your character booster, like a sword mage. You see, I also have the arcane slash.
Mm-hmm.
But I've developed him into being more like a caster healer type, right? And that's something that I did over time with the decisions that I made. Because that was sort of like the character that I wanted this to be. So even though I can cast spells, and I started out with you like running around with a sword and doing my arcane slashes, right now I'm much more of like a pure caster healer type, right? Because that's just what my character evolved into being.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that you can completely change what you start out with.
Yes.
Yeah, but it takes time, right? Let's say you've been an archer for like 100 in-game hours, right? If you were to start swinging a sword around, technically it would take you 100 in-game hours to become as good with a sword as you are with a bow.
Makes
right?
sense.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Casper and Chris. Yeah, everybody. Thank you for all your great questions here.
Ooh, it's two of them again.
That's.
Oh, right, I was answering Kingbout, so...
Oh, Da Vinci, watch out.
Whoa.
So I was answering Kingbout here about the caravan, so let's say oh god, I have to... Alright, so just keep kiting. I'm gonna put down an orb that should slow these guys. Oh my god. Or not. Alright, just keep them around that orb.
There we go.
There we go. Wow.
Yeah, not even close. I mean, you're full HP.
I'm like, oh wow, that was close. I didn't even look to see the number there, but it was. I didn't see any more red left on my bar on the screen.
That's scary.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was saying, like, if you as a guild needed a lot of lumber, like, you can hire NPC woodcutters to go out into the woods and gather you that lumber, right? So that would be you making an order. So that's another example of like how NPCs are actually part of the world, and they're like interacting with the players, right? The players are interacting with the world through these NPCs. And we're kind of, that's also a way for us to, like, even if you're playing on, let's say you're playing technically on a low populated server for some reason, that's still a way for you to be able to do things even though you don't have a crap ton of players, right? You can get the money to hire NPCs to do the work for you. Because what's the difference between an NPC and a player in a fantasy world? Well, if you truly was immersive, then nothing, right? NPCs should be able to do all the things the players are doing, because why not? You know, why does a player have to carry the lumber? Why does a player have to go into the mines? But the thing about this is, the NPCs are also living entities just like the players. So let's say your woodcutters were attacked by like an outlaw and they died. Well, you're not going to get your lumber because they're not going to come back with it.
Ooh, dangerously low.
Uh-oh,
Yeah,
there's
dude,
like 3 of them.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
Booster, why do you keep doing that?
I don't know, man.
See, so typically when you're meeting like an enemy with a bow, what you might want to do is just go hide behind a wall and kite him to us so that we don't have to deal with him.
Yeah, yes.
Shooting.
His range was way too long. I was trying to run away and get
Yeah,
away from him, but
There's
Range
another
guys
one.
are scary.
ooh,
Oh no.
That's a sorcerer. I hate these
There's
guys.
the
coming back.
vines. Yeah, the vines are not going to do anything against him.
There we go.
Oh. There we go. Oh. Vines. Oh no, I'm out of mana.
Yeah, same. Have you learned leyline meditation yet?
No.
Ooh,
Uh-oh.
I haven't. See, you had the chance to do so because you've been very smart in exploring the library. So right now I'm meditating and attuning myself to the ley lines. So if you saw me kneeling on the ground there, that actually allowed me to tune in with the ley lines and recover some of my mana.
Nice.
So yeah, you might want to pick that up, but I'm not going to tell you how to get it though.
No.
I mean,
but
if
not a
I would assume
pickaxe.
that we're restarting next weekend anyway, right?
But here, next weekend's still going to be the same characters actually. So here's what I'm gonna do. If we were really playing the game right now and I was just some random guys you guys picked up, I'd be like, you know. So that's kind of like this is sort of just an example of like how we want the community to be with each other,
Right. So
right?
they would be talking about it. Yes.
Yeah, so why wouldn't you, right? So if like we're doing a dungeon together and I'm like, oh dude, he's running out of mana and he doesn't have the meditation spell that I'm using like right now, then why wouldn't I want to be like, hey, dude, there's actually a way you can regen your mana, and then be like, and this is what I mean about content not being linear, right? Then I would be like, how about we go out and we get you that spell first, and then we clear the dungeon, because it's going to be so
Right.
much easier for us to
For
clear the dungeon
everybody.
if we did
Correct.
that. So that's like the level of community that we kind of want to create with that.
Yeah.
So Booster, when you have that like shield on you, have you noticed that like if you get hit, it adds the stacks to them?
Yeah, it adds a stack and they take damage from hitting me, yeah.
Yeah, so
Like
when you
a
have, like, a lot
Minecraft
of
Forms
enemies,
ability sort
yeah,
of thing.
exactly. So when you have a lot of people hitting you when you use that, it's like crazy AoE damage.
There's light
Yeah, it's
over
pretty
here.
good.
That's just a matter of finding what was his name, Marcus.
There's light there, but
So let's see, Christopher asks, so then with the players being able to set their own shops, that means that in theory it could also keep competitive pricing for things. Exactly. Players decide the
There's
prices.
Bow guy.
there's a lot of guys up there.
Oh,
Yep.
crap. All right, well.
It's gonna be fun.
Okay, I'm gonna do, I might be a little broken, but here we go. I'm gonna use some powerful spells here. We should just kite these guys, probably. Probably, maybe. No, we're good. Yeah,
As
'cause if
long
I
as
draw
we
their, I'll draw their attention and I'll just kind of run around and let you guys kill them.
Yeah, as long as we
That'll work.
don't draw all of them in.
Oh my lord, that guy hit you hard.
Yeah, 29 damage each time.
And that's the thing, like, so his hit did 29 damage. My 2-second heal with a 3-second cooldown heals you for 30. So, like, mathematically, I can't keep you alive, because, like, if you were to just stand there and take the hits, you know? So, like, as us being, like, slightly lower level players than what this content is designed for, we need, like, we can still clear it, but we need to play smart. And that's what I miss. Like, I remember me and my friend, just nerding out a little bit here, but I remember me and my friend, we both played Hunters in WoW, and before Wrath of the Lich King came out, both of us as level 62 Hunters, we two-manned the
Wait.
entire Blood Furnace dungeon. And that was, like, such, like, an achievement for us, because it was, like, it's supposed to be a 5-man dungeon for that level, but we made it work, you know? And that's kind of how we want Ethereal to be. Like, yeah, we're lower level than this dungeon is designed for, but why shouldn't we get to try?
I realized that my body is still there in that corner. I didn't realize I didn't pick it up.
No, I missed. I'm terrible.
Oh, come on. Oh, there we go. Alright, my body is here in this corner.
Oh, guys, let me, I have some, let's see, take some of this.
Wait, where's my stuff?
Wait a minute.
Oh, I died another time again.
Yeah, Da Vinci, on your right there, I dropped some fruit salad, and Booster on the ground there next to your corpse, I dropped some fruit salad for you. I want to eat that.
Oh, here? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that'll help.
I have another body somewhere with all my stuff.
So in terms of competitive pricing, Christopher, like, players decide their own prices. So you can ask for how much ever gold, copper, silver you want for something. But there's still merchants around the world that also have a demand for materials. And they're going to have certain prices for things, right? So, like, if you're in an area where a player can buy leather for, like, say, 10 copper pieces for a piece of leather, then why would he buy it from you for 20? You know what I mean? So, like, although the supply and demand is a lot, in many ways, controlled by the players, there's still ways for players to circumvent greedy players by going to, like, you know, by going to merchants and so on. And merchants' prices will also be dynamic. So if a lot of players sell leather to him, then he's going to have a large supply of leather. So buying leather from him is going to be cheaper as well. So that's kind of like how the world, you know, reacts and like reacts to what the players are doing. So like we had someone in the chat earlier was talking about how badly they wanted to be like a trader. Well, people like that, I mean trader as in like someone who trades, not a trader as in someone who's a trader. But yeah, the way that they interact with the world is essentially like very important for the economy of the game because players like that are going to have a large impact on how the game is sort of fleshed out.
There, I got my stuff back, luckily.
Hmm.
That's
We're
good.
kind of back at the beginning, I guess.
Yeah, we have to
Do we-
run
do we
back
go in here?
again.
No,
We
there
have
wasn't
gone in
anything
there, but
I
there's
just went
nothing
that way.
there.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't seem to be anyway.
Oh, no, yeah, 29 to 14. I'm not going to trade hits with him.
Wait, what? Where?
Oh. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh,
Oh,
uh-oh.
oh, okay, okay, okay.
Uh-oh,
We're good.
uh-oh.
We're good. We're good. Okay, just stand where you're standing. Just stand right there. You should die from this.
There we
Yeah,
go.
baby. So
was
the
that?
differences between us right now is, as you can see, so I'm a level 23 player. Right now, my character's level 23. But if you look at our HP, I don't have that much more HP than Da Vinci does, even though I'm 10 levels higher or something, right?
Right?
I can't see your
So-
HP. It's a question mark for me.
Oh. He's
Oh,
got
really?
350
If you inspect me,
or
what if you
333.
click me and inspect me?
The inspect
Oh, I think it might
level
be because
23. I can see, yeah, but not.
I think sometimes when you
Oh,
die, it turns into a question mark. Member of your
actually,
party.
it's because because you lost a bit of experience. You're actually too low level to know exactly what my stats are.
Really?
Oh.
I'm 11.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
Interesting.
Booster is what, 13? So I think it's 10 levels. If I'm more than 10 levels above you, you can't see like my HP and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm like at 12 or
interesting.
13.
Oh my god, these bow guys are killing me.
Yeah, these are strong.
Ouch. Yeah, so you can, so what I wanted to say about the food too is like if you look on the top right, you don't only have a well-fed buff, which is helping with our regeneration, but you notice
Right.
that since this food I gave you is a special kind of food, it's actually also giving you a buff.
Oh, is that what mine says nature arrows beside it? Because it gives me a
Uh,
buff on my arrow skill.
no, did you eat the fruit thing I gave you? So you see you have the,
Right. Says well fed.
Oh yeah, now I
Yeah.
ate it and I got it.
if
Yeah.
you eat the whole thing, I put one more on the ground in case you need it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'll
Increases
make
your
a little-
attack speed and casting speed by 10%.
So Mr. Kingbode, there will be
Oh, now
local
I got it. Yes. Mushroom
Awesome.
fruit salad. Attack speed. Casting speed. Yep. By 10%. Awesome. That's
So
pretty
Mr.
nice.
Kingboud asked, with each player being able to make shop, do you have any intentions to put in a public auction house like World of Warcraft or a way to advertise your goods? Great question. So bigger cities will have marketplaces that you can
Nice,
list your
okay.
goods in. However, those are local marketplaces, right? They're not linked together in any way. So the marketplace in City 1 is going to be different from the marketplace in City 2. So of course, materials that are more redundant in City 1 are not going to be worth as much as it might be in another cities. So I guess the way you can say the answer to that question is yes, there are local auction houses, but there's no like global world scale auction house. And that's to keep the mechanics and like systems of the game to make sense with, you know, the game design that we're going for.
There we go.
God, I love that Orbifrost spell so much.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a really cool looking and fancy little spell.
Yeah, it took a lot of effort to learn that one. And yeah, I don't like, okay, so one thing to know, I know people are like, oh, it's a developer playing, so like he's OP and whatever. The thing is, this character, I have not touched with a single command. Like this character, I've leveled like a normal character.
Yeah,
Like, I've
level
spent the time
23
in
is
the
not
game.
exceptionally high.
No, it's not exceptionally high, but it does take some time to get there. And like the choices I've
Sure.
made, and of course, some of the choices I made are not available to you guys because you didn't
Wait.
play the game exactly like I did.
We're going back.
But essentially, it's like that's just how I've developed this character. So I just want people to know that like the character I'm playing is not some fake character. It's like an actual character in the game that has spent the time to develop their skill set and their spells.
Right.
I'm not sure where to go.
But also that helps you, you know, as developing the game too, to just be able to play it, you know, kind of through then you know that things are working as intended.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, the most fun part of game development is playing your own game.
Oh man, that guy is
Oh,
tough.
he hits
He's got
hard.
some armor or something.
Yeah, I think he's really strong against physical damage. Yeah, you gotta keep running, dude. 'Cause I'm not gonna be able to heal you up for this.
I put a entangler on him.
There's a
Okay,
ranger
I have
now
my
as
orb.
well.
I have my orb ready. So just kite him around the orb. You should take a lot of damage.
Yep.
Oh,
Here.
booster, don't
Come on.
die again.
Come on.
Yeah, I think I might.
Oh,
The archers
Stand on
is...
me, stand on me, stand on
hey,
me, stand
where's
on me.
this guy? Oh, he's an archer
Oh
dude.
no, I missed. God damn it.
Ugh.
Yeah, I was hoping he would stand on me because I was casting like a heal on my area.
Yeah, I was too far away
that's
to
a-
get back.
And that's the thing too, like communication is so important, right? Because like I had a healing
Yeah.
spell ready there, but that healing spell only heals around where I'm standing. So if you're like running around, there's no way I can ever be able to heal you. So that's why I need to
Nice.
communicate and say,
Yep.
please stand
Yep.
on me, right?
Right.
Let me try to get back there again. Those rangers, they keep killing me so easily.
Yeah, that's actually because like, so your armor, the armor you're wearing is not that strong because the rangers deal like pure physical damage, but they're also squishy. Like the rangers don't have like a lot of HP. They're pretty easy to kill
Right.
with ranged spells. It's just when you're a melee character, it's so hard because you're running in and trying to kill them, but they're always around other people. But if you see like me and Da Vinci, we're ranged now, so Da Vinci, let's engage this guy. And you'll see how far we can.
I'm
like,
coming
we'll go-
towards you, bringing him
We can
company.
burst him like super hard.
Yep.
Oh, speaking of.
Another guy behind you.
Yeah, there we go. So this guy doesn't have a lot of health, so if you start whacking him, you know.
Yeah, if I can get to him.
Exactly, but that's the kind of behavior we have on our, like, we want our, like, archer mobs to play like an archer player would. They would try to
Right,
kite you,
right.
you know?
Right.
So, like, as a
exactly.
melee player like this, it's hard
He's
for you
still
to beat
running.
that guy alone.
Oh,
But he's...
I'm
Oh,
down
dude, you're
again.
running into enemies!
Yeah, I know, but if
Oh,
I
my
ever
God.
run away, he's gonna hit me as well.
But he is designed to do that. He will run to his allies. So if you keep chasing him, he's actually going to pull more enemies. Because he knows...
That's a great mechanic.
Yeah, so like he knows where his friends are, so of course he's gonna run to them to try to get help.
Yeah, and I can't stay at a distance because I'm just gonna get hit.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out
Ugh.
yet how to use this tracking arrow. I think probably like in a narrow passageway would be the best location for that. 'Cause
Where
it's
was
going
my
to-
body?
Oh, the tracking arrow? Yeah, the tracking
yeah.
arrow is the kind of ability that
Kinda-
if I recall correctly, it's just used to check. So what I typically used it for was to just like, if I was trying to loot something, I wanted to make sure there were no like other players or enemies around. I would shoot it like right by me, because what it does is it tries to go to the nearest enemy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it's more of a way to try to like detect players and people.
Okay.
Alright, there we go.
So Christopher asked on Da Vinci's channel, in the future, will it be possible to make guild-based equipment, player-designed equipment? Yes. So it goes a little bit back to what I said about transmog, where it's like we want equipment to be
Where are we going?
identifiable.
Oh, here's two.
Oh,
There's
let's
one.
get him. We want equipment to be identifiable. So like a steel armor should always be able to be identified as a steel armor. But at the end of the day, what we want players to be able to add is like their guild crest on it, or like their guild's colors, you know, like, so, okay, we're like
Hello?
red and yellow themed. Yeah, you're good. See, DPS is the best kind of healing, because if they're dead, they don't deal damage to you.
That's true.
Yeah, and after those real nice pickaxes, we didn't get anything. You must have changed it.
No, I didn't change anything. You guys were
Quick
super
change.
lucky. You guys were super lucky with those. Nice.
I
Oh,
hate when I use
I'm
one of my
overweight.
special abilities and then Booster whacks him and finishes him. Because
Yeah,
then I'm
right?
like, wasted one.
Yeah, I hate that feeling. So these sorcerers, like, I'm not doing as much damage to these because, like, they're good against, like, magic armor. So, like, my arcane bolts that usually do, like, pretty good damage to the other enemies, I'm not even touching this guy. So this guy's, like, all up to you guys. And this kind of goes to like group dynamics. Like you want to
Right.
have a good mix of like, people that deal physical damage, people that deal
Mhm.
magical damage. Because like the tankier people in here, like the miners and stuff that are wearing like heavy armor, it's hard for you
Right.
guys to damage them. But for me, like that guy down there, my magic wrecks him.
So I have a problem. I feel like I'm overweight, but my weight capacity is good.
Well, if you open up your... Well, you're not though, right? Because you're closing in on the max.
I'm closing in on max. Okay, that's also
so
when you
like-
start slowing down.
Exactly. So the closer you are to like your maximum capacity, the slower you're going to start moving. So the less encumbered you are, the better, right? So, and that's kind of like goes back to
I
that like
didn't
high
pick
risk,
up
high reward
anything,
play
though.
style. Well, if you
Mhm.
look in your backpack, you have like a gazillion things. Do you have like 300 apples?
Yeah, but I
Why
mean, I
would you
haven't
have
picked up
300
anything for quite a while,
Well,
and
just,
all of a sudden I
when
start.
he wants a snack, he's trying to get his 12,000 or whatever it was.
No, but what has happened is you've died a few times and you've lost some experience, so maybe you don't have as much strength now as you used to have.
Oh,
I
true.
guess
You're not as strong as
gonna
you
have to
used
throw out everything.
No, just throw
Oh,
out
that's a
those
miner.
300 apples.
You said something about those miners.
Yeah, they're good against physical damage. Notice how you're not
I mean,
doing
I'm
much damage.
I'm at
to them?
half
Yeah,
capacity
not very
right now,
much.
and I'm still slow. Is there a key to auto walk instead
Oh
of
yeah,
run?
it's caps lock.
Caps lock? Oh, there we go. So I wasn't
Yeah, so you
overweight.
just you click
There we
the
go.
RP walk button.
All right, pick up all the apples again.
I love how like my fellow devs are like, I didn't even realize, but like they were actually texting me on Discord. They were like, he just clicked the walk button. Like, oh. I didn't even look at it until after.
Nice.
They're ghosting us. They're making sure I don't say anything stupid.
Oh.
Oh man, I'm glad we know at least now. Caps lock is that.
It's the role playing walk.
Yep. Yeah.
All right,
Man,
these outlaws.
This place is huge.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but oh no,
Oh,
it's the brute.
The
Oh,
brute.
it's the brute.
That seems like somebody I don't want to mess with, but
Just from.
Yeah, this
Which
is the guy you want to like try to
Uh-oh,
not.
there's three
oh
more.
my god, we do
Uh-oh,
no
uh-oh,
damage to
uh-oh.
him.
Okay, let's kill the ads first. Let's make sure we kill the ads first.
Oh, not if I get killed first by him. Oof,
Booster, stay away from him.
I'm trying.
Booster.
Dude, I'm gonna.
Booster.
Oh, dude, don't I have
You're,
like?
you're kiting him. Oh man.
Okay, let's just go back a bit. Let's see if we can try to
Why don't,
kill his.
why don't we just stand and pick some mushrooms for a while? No. All right.
Seems like a good idea.
You freaking. You
Oh,
you
man.
drug addict.
Oh, he's coming back.
We I could actually put vines on him. I forgot.
Yeah,
That
that's a good
doesn't do a
spell.
whole lot. Doesn't do a whole lot.
This guy's slow from the beginning. Like, we could just kite him, honestly. Let's just... Hold on. I have a little bit of ice magic, so I can try to, like, just keep him slowed.
Why is he coming after me?
Oh, because he identifies you as the most annoying person. So some bosses have, like, special behaviors, and even mobs. So some like, they hate archers.
Oh, jeez. They
So he will, like-
hate archers.
So he will like do anything to kill a person with a bow. Or it might be a mob that's like hates people who use potions in battle. So like if you use a potion, he'll actually enrage. So there's all kinds of behaviors and stuff in the game that we can custom create for players to like figure out.
That is an awesome thing.
It's more fun that way, right? It's more
Yeah,
unique.
because he hates me. So here I'm the archer, and I gotta keep running away from him.
Yeah, but it's actually letting Booster kind of smack him. Oh, is
Yep.
he on me now? Oh, I think he's on me now.
I can keep doing some damage to him.
Yeah, this guy is well, he's a brute for a reason.
Yeah,
does not
we've
go
done
down
about
easily.
10% of damage.
Uh-oh. Hey, watch out or I'll take out my big mace.
Oh, we don't want that
Oh,
to
he does
happen.
have a big mace on his back, so...
Oh, he's actually gonna switch weapons at some point.
crap,
Oh boy.
There's an assassin here.
Phase 2.
Oh, crap.
Here, I'll get the
Oh,
assassin.
I need to get my imbued
I'll
weapon.
get the assassin now. There you go. He's
Hey,
down.
don't mind me. I'm just almost dying.
Heal yourself.
Trust me, I'd love to.
Oh, here, I'll get the other guy.
Can I block him out with my rock wall spell? Oh, maybe I can. Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh,
that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
Well, we've done about 10% damage.
Yeah, we're doing
No, oh crap!
okay-ish.
I thought that was you.
No, no.
Oh no, mobs behind us as well.
That's okay. Just
Yeah, I'm
keep
trying
running
to kill
him.
the miner now.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to kill him too.
You should be about
Then
there.
at least we have to worry only about the boss after that. There you go.
I'm just gonna. Yeah, this rock right here is like my lifeline.
Safety
All right, I'll
rock.
put the vine on him. Oh,
Nice.
it's still that vine doesn't do very much, but
It
I mean,
doesn't.
it's just like it's like
it
a
slows
it
a
feels
lot.
like it's a couple of steps.
It slows a lot in the beginning, and then it kind of like dissipates. But I think this guy's also like pretty resistant to slowing effects. Oh no.
He's pretty slow on its own already.
Yeah, he is. Which is why like percentage-wise movement slows aren't gonna do that much. Oh crap. Man, this guy is tough. Then again, also to note, like we're not only under leveled for this content, but we're also supposed to be like 4 or 5 players, so we're doing pretty well.
Well, I
Yeah,
count for 2
players-
usually, so...
So yes, other players can heal each other. Yes.
Yeah.
There's like a healing salve that I could put on another player, even if I don't have any like per se healing spells.
Correct. So you can like place the salve on him if you wanted to.
Oh, there's another assassin coming. Watch out.
Oh, F.
Yep.
He's not-
I can't, man. I'm too close to him. Shit. He's having fun
Yeah,
with me.
don't. Just make sure you don't run into.
Yep.
Is he dead?
Almost.
Close.
One
I'm
more.
almost dead. I'm
There we
almost-
go.
Whoa.
Yeah, I got
There we
you.
go. I gotta get that. Where's that? Oh, fruit salad there. Oh, my hit points have gone back up now. We're good.
Yeah, I healed you a little, even though I'm taking a beating myself. Priorities.
All right. Yeah. Wow, this guy is gonna feel like a sense of accomplishment when he goes down.
That's what
Oh,
he
yeah.
should.
It's gonna take like another 10 minutes. At least. I can
I'd love
kind of
to, like,
block his
read-
path as well.
Yeah, so players can use. So like, if you guys go in front of him, it's like harder for him to reach me.
Yeah. I can just keep him at a distance, sort of.
So yeah, Christopher, what you said about the speed, I'm glad you mentioned that because like,
Yep.
yeah, there are players who'll be like, oh, I wish like the movement was more
Oh,
faster paced.
Oh, Pinky
yeah.
aggro's on me now.
Okay. Yeah, I think so. But you know, we personally also love like the pace of our game. You know, we want the movement of the combat to be like relatively simplistic, but still like the depth of the spells and the way that you can use them should be like, you know, the essence of the game. So yeah, this is the movement speed, this is the pace of the game, this is how you kind of like your decisions matter a lot. So even things like me, so he's chasing Booster right now, but if I run like this, I can actually block the boss and like change his path to give Booster more leeway to like run around and kite him. So there are clever things you can do. So the movement is like, it's simple, but at the same time, there's a lot you can do with it. That's kind of what we're going for. Man, this guy is taking a lot of
Wow.
damage to the face.
Man, he's like at 60%
this
after
guy's
all of this.
Crazy.
Trying to reuse my sort of range spells, but
Right?
Yep.
there you go. Well, he's almost half health.
Nice.
Yeah, hey, it's
We're
I
doing
think
it.
because I think he has some armor, so I think we're starting to like really tear down his armor. So I think we're gonna start doing more damage to him too.
Oh, so eventually his armor wears down.
Yeah, so the way armor works in Ethereal. Oh, crap! Oh, he has
Oh,
his big
you
mace out
asked
now.
for it.
Oh,
Oh,
he has his big mace out now.
phase
Don't let him
number
hit you.
2. Uh-oh.
Booster.
Oh, no.
Look out.
Um,
Oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
the scumbag. Okay. We'll be fine.
All right.
Oh, Jesus.
Dangler on him.
87 damage. Okay.
Yeah, let's not let him hit.
I do
you,
not
though.
want to get hit that way. Oh,
Okay,
no.
wait, do I have an orb ready? Okay, this should do some damage.
Nice. Nice. Bring him back here. Oh, it's already over.
I'm going big loops around him. Big loops.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know why
smart.
he likes you so much.
Don't want to deal
Yeah,
with him.
it's hard to predict the behavior of them, but that's what makes them interesting.
Yeah, he was really liking me at the beginning. And
Or
now-
hating, I guess.
Yeah.
Depends how you put it. I mean, wanting to smash you with a mace, I feel like that's more hate than love, you know?
There's a fine line.
Yes, Casper, players can't pick up other things that other people have dropped. Correct. Like if Booster dies, not that he's going to, or not that he has.
Not
But
anymore.
if he did, then I would be able to pick up his stuff off of his body. But also, if he were to drop something on the ground, then I can pick it up. So either way.
Yeah, it's not like Booster's ever died in this game, so.
No, luckily not. Oh,
We're
jeez.
at 40%. I am totally running out of.
Well, he was very resistant to that. That's not good.
Yeah, that did nothing.
Try eating another mushroom salad just for fun of it.
Oh, he's gonna hit me.
Oh no.
Nope, nope, no, we're good actually.
Oh,
Wow.
nice, nice. Good job, good job.
Ooh. I was pretty sure he was gonna.
You're standing right next to him, and
Yeah,
he's
if
still
he-
going
if
after
he-
Booster.
If he switched to me there, he probably would have killed me. Well, Booster, looks like your job is to run around and not get hit.
Yeah. Yeah, get
Well,
close to him.
at least my shield
and,
negated like 20 damage from that. I'm gonna go around the rock again. That seemed to work just fine. Just
Yeah, it's
ring
nice and
around
big
the
rock,
Rosie.
It's not big enough that it's like obstructing vision, so we can still keep casting and shooting him, so that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Another
Wow.
thing that, one thing that we discussed a lot, I remember recently as a dev team, is actually, I don't know if you could do this in the previous alpha, but I mean, of course, you can rotate the camera, right? So if you hold the middle mouse button and drag, you can like rotate your angle.
Mm-hmm.
The game used to be isometric, so the game used to be so you couldn't rotate it at all. But we kind of implemented the rotating because we're like, I don't know, we just feel like it adds a lot more depth to like, you know, how you want to see the game and the perspectives you want to see it from. What that did, however, was Max, our level designer, the poor guy was like, wait, I have to make things look good from all angles now?
Yeah.
So you had to like redo a lot of parts of the island and stuff because it was like, wait, crap, it probably looks like shit if I look at it from the side.
Yeah, if there's multiple angles, then you got a lot more work.
Yeah, that's essentially what happens. Let's try to keep him in my orb.
So, Chris has a question. Can you make custom spells?
Oh, I love
Like
that question.
mixing different effects.
Oh, you're gonna love this, Chris. So we've made a system, okay, we have a rune system. Runes in this game mean a lot. So runes are essentially different ways for you to enhance certain things. So one example of this is, let's say you reach certain levels with a skill. Say for example, like, okay, you've reached level 30 in sword fighting. Congratulations, right? So what that essentially does is it can unlock some slots where you can equip specific runes to change something about your sword fighting,
Oh,
right? So
is he changing? Oh, I
no,
thought
I
he was
think
going
it's
to
good.
change.
Yeah, that would suck. I mean, we're really lucky he's on booster because we're like the ranged guys here who are like,
Yeah, real
dishing out
lucky.
the damage. So no, it's just booster being so hateable. This guy's like, I gotta kill him. This is
Hey,
probably
Ryan,
the
how's it going?
If
If you cast a healing aura, would it heal the enemies as well?
So it depends on the healing spells. Some healing auras would heal enemies, but a lot of the healing spells, AoE healing spells that are currently in the game, so let's say this Divine Orb that I'm going to cast right now, that doesn't heal Frederick, but it or the enemy, but it does apply a debuff to him. So some healing spells are like, they apply debuffs to enemies, but they are buffs to allies. So there's oftentimes several layers to the spells that you learn, especially later on in the game. And just to touch on that with the question that Chris asked is, you will eventually be able to use the runes to alter spells when you reach certain levels or skill. So like if I'm a very skilled
Yo,
elementalist,
He's going down.
he's going down. If I'm like a really skilled elementalist, I can use runes to like change the behavior of my spell.
There we
so instead
go.
of having, nice. Wait, where'd he go? Oh, there he is.
You
Did he
got a
drop- he
hammer
didn't
from
drop
him.
anything.
Yeah, I
Oh,
got
you
a
did,
hammer.
okay.
I got a hammer.
I guess you took it.
Only
Somebody took
a
it.
hard hammer. Good
Oh, that
quality.
sucks. All right,
It's
so
worse than what I got.
your loot luck has run out. But yeah,
Oh.
Chris, so there's going to be ways for you to say configure. So say a spell like, I'm trying to think of what spells
There's
I have.
another one.
Oh,
Oh, crap.
there's.
Yo, hold up. Did he
No,
respawn? Okay, let's just
we
not.
we don't need to do that again.
No.
Is that his evil twin brother or something? Yeah, let's.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh shit. Oh no.
There's.
Yeah, just run. Just run.
Spent 20 minutes almost doing that. Nah, 10, but okay.
And he respawns in like 3 seconds.
Oh god. Probably because we were fighting him a little bit away from his area, maybe.
Actually, what's going on is we're making some changes to the dungeon system and stuff. So right now, there's, I guess you could call it a bug, or let's just call it a feature. There's a feature where mobs are like respawning in the dungeon because we're making some
Right.
changes. So they're not supposed to respawn. So this thing is like 10 times harder than it should be for us right now.
Oh, okay.
That is
But hey,
great.
more fun that way, right? I mean, it's not like we're already
Oh.
under leveled and undermanned.
Do we still go this way?
Alright, let's go. Let's go. Run. Run.
Sure, yeah.
Run. Run.
Come on.
Wait, there's something here.
Oh.
Letter book.
There's
Stuff.
There's a book.
Things.
Yeah, no, don't get so close to him. Oh,
Let's go.
here he comes. Here he comes.
Go! Oh no!
Yep,
That was
yep.
my bad. I was reading.
I was,
something.
I was like,
I shouldn't be multitasking. Anyone who knows me knows that I shouldn't be multitasking.
what the flip, man?
Oh,
Oh wow.
jeez. Oh no, he's
Okay.
still following us.
Oh.
This is bad.
This is
Alright.
gonna wind up bad.
This is really bad.
All right. Here's the thing.
This is where we call it.
No, chill. Chill. I mean, not even close. Okay, look. Look.
You're-
Okay. We're dead. Well, you guys have fun. I'm gonna use my wonderful admin
Oh,
power
no.
to
Oh
the,
god.
yeah, but so the mobs have respawned in the dungeon, but they're not supposed to. So that's something we're gonna fix really quick.
Yep.
But that was just like a little bit of an intro into the dungeon. I'd say we
Yeah,
explored
absolutely.
about 3% of it, maybe.
Oh man.
Wow, that is huge.
Are they really that big? Jeez.
Yeah. So this one specifically, for people in the chat, this one was inspired by the dead mines in World of Warcraft, and it's it's big. It's really big. And there's so many levels to this dungeon, like in terms of like we've explored 1 out of 9 floors. Like this
Wow.
dungeon
1 out of
keeps
9,
going down
Jesus.
and down and down. And there are several
Nice.
things that you'll discover as you go down. Exactly. RPM Games puts it perfectly. If a boss fight doesn't take 15 minutes or more, then it's just another basic NPC.
True.
And that boss fight right there is just, he's like the dumbest boss in the dungeon. He just runs around with a mace. But you're going to realize there's some really intricate and difficult mechanics within there. So even with the basic movement and combat that we have in the game, we've still added a lot of like dynamics and a lot of like complexity to the combat that you're going to notice as you go down there. But what you might want to do before then is, of course, for the next weekend, there's going to be players coming in. So, you should probably level up your skills, level up, get a higher level, grind some mobs, get a group of friends, go together as a 5-man and see if you can clear this. I mean, we challenge people to try and kill the last boss in this dungeon because that stuff is not easy. We know it's possible because we've done it, but it was not easy.
Right. But we're like on the first level in struggle bussing.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're kind of struggle bussing a little bit too because we're undermanned and also the mobs are respawning when they're not supposed to. That's not going to happen by, next time. Because like you said, we fix stuff fast, and it's just also because it's like the development build you can see from the bottom right there is like we're making changes and working and and hey, thanks a lot, Christopher. So like and everyone who's been asking questions like, hey, Mr. Kingbao, Dragon Ayami, Christopher, RPM Games, Casper, everyone who's been asking questions, thank you so much. And like Christopher just said, he added it to his Steam wishlist. You guys have no idea how awesome that is for us. Like if you add us to your wishlist, that's such great support. You can follow us and join our Discord. There you can take place in any discussion you want. Like, we're on our Discord all the time. So if you want to ask questions like you're asking now, just ask them on our Discord and we'll get back to you when we have the time. Same for our YouTube channel, Ethereal Echoes of Yore. If you subscribe to that, you'll be ready to see whenever a new video hits. The next one's going to be the PvP and Infamy video. Then I'm going to make some videos demonstrating the crafting system and the intricacies and depths of that, as well as like the cooking. The cooking recipes in Ethereal. So actually our level designer, he's an educated chef. So a lot of the recipes that we're going to have in the game are like, you know, how you would actually have to cook the food. So we have like people with culinary experience that can do that. It's just like that level of depth that we want to create to make it seem like if you're like a chef in the game, like, and you're devoting your life to like being a chef in the game, we want it to feel cool. You know, we want you to have a really impactful like impact on players' play styles, because you see like just the basic food that I gave you guys, it already gave you pretty powerful
Yes.
buffs.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an important part of the game. So you know, that's just a little bit of a taste of what Ethereal has. And like I've said before, even though the Solitary Isles is only a fraction of what the mainland is, there's still plenty of content for people to enjoy. I bet
Oh,
there's
yeah.
not a single
Yeah.
person in here that's going to be able to find everything about it. If there is, we'll have to reward them with like a statue in the game or something. But that's kind of, you know, that's kind of what I mean. It's like, it's simple in the way that you see it, like simple movement, it's simple combat, like it doesn't have flashy animations, it doesn't have like, you know, the big budget massive triple A quality 3D graphics. And the reason for that is what we focus on is the gameplay. We focus on the content. And if we needed like custom 3D animations for every single thing we wanted to create, we just simply wouldn't be able to create a game of this scale, right? So things are the way they are for a reason. They work really great. We're very happy with how our game looks. Like we've added a lot of things like shaders and post-processing and like the lighting system and stuff that you're seeing to make the game feel, you know, adventurous.
Yes. And he mentioned all those things in the description, and I'm pretty sure Booster said he had it in his too. But in my
Yep.
description today and yesterday is all of their links for Twitter, Discord, the website, everything. So
Yeah, I got it in my
all
live
there.
chat. If you do ! Yore, you will see the Discord, the Steam page, and the playlist for videos where they explain things about the game as well.
Yep.
All right, well, Da
Awesome.
Vinci, I don't know how we're gonna get our stuff back.
What stuff? I got all my stuff.
You died, didn't you?
Yeah, but I still have all my stuff.
If all your stuff, you're back as well?
No, I don't.
I was gonna say. But
I got a bow and a lantern.
let's see, yeah.
Good.
I don't think we're gonna be able to get it back. I guess we're gonna have to.
Yeah, with the respawning of the mobs and stuff, I'm gonna since it's kind of our fault. I'll admit that it's not just
No,
your
no, no.
fault.
No,
So
it's all right.
I'll be a
We
nice
can,
I'll be a nice godly entity and I'll get your bags for you.
oh my.
That would be awesome. You see the backpacks? Oh, I can see a
There's
backpack here, yeah.
Backpack here. I don't know whose that is.
I don't know who's either. It's not the one that I had, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's mine.
Was that yours? Ah.
Yep.
Ah,
No
Carlson is
free
already on the
slots.
job. Oh, and
Alright,
there's another
Mr.
one.
Kingboat is already he's already
Yeah.
talking about, you know, fancy recipes here. So I think we found our chef.
Yeah, so how do I guess I just drop everything.
Oh, wait, yeah. This was the
And
one that
then-
I had. Let's see. That's
Put
that
all
one.
And then okay, and let's put that there.
Oh, man. There's all stuff
Hmm.
everywhere now. I can't... Let's see. Backpack there.
Yep. Now I gotta
Pick up
myself.
that. That's empty.
I'll be honest with you, I don't even.
Let's see. Is that all?
There
Okay,
we go.
just to give
I think
people
we're good.
just to give people
I
an
think we're good.
idea of the scale of things, I'm the lead. Like I'm like a game designer on this game, and I'm struggling to find our corpses. Like it is, it is.
Well,
just
Carson got our bags.
perfect.
I seem I'm missing something. Did you pick up a couple of bags, Da Vinci?
Maybe.
I guess so.
Trying to sort that out now.
With the pickaxes and such. Because I had two of those pickaxes on me.
I've got a sack with like no slots.
Yeah, I had one that was empty as well.
he got your stuff. So if you look through the backpacks, your stuff should be there. So if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna answer a few more questions. I see some questions here, and then I'm gonna do a couple of closing statements because I do have some things I have to go and do. Sadly.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I'm gonna answer. So RPM games, are there grind zones just for easier leveling up? So there are grind zones where you can like just keep killing mobs and gain some experience. However, some of them could be easier than others. That's just up for you to find out. A new quest, get your grand statue for finding everything. Yeah, good luck with that. But if you do, truly, I'll make a statue for you in game. RPM Games also asks, are there Easter eggs in the game too? So many, you have no idea. Like, just so many. We have a guy literally that works part-time on the project. All he does is goes around and makes Easter eggs. That's his job. His job description is like Easter egg creator. So like there's so many of them. Seeing some questions here. Mr. Kingbod wants some tasty cave moss. We'll make sure to have that for you. All right. So a couple of closing statements from us here at Jellyberry. Hey, Booster, Da Vinci, thank you guys so much for playing our game this weekend. It's been awesome to have you. It's truly been an honor. You guys have been so awesome, and I'm so glad I got to join you guys today to talk about the game and answer any questions. For anyone that wants to learn more about the game, just do !Yore in any of their chats, and you'll get a bunch of info about our YouTube and Discord and so on. And if anyone has any questions they feel like they need to ask me or any of the other developers, the Discord would definitely be the best place to do that. We answer whenever we find the time, and we're typically very active with our community. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube, join our Discord, wishlist us on Steam, and next weekend is going to be a full open alpha. So that means it's more like a stress test just for us to have people come in and try out the game. But it's technically an open alpha. The Solitary Isles is going to be available just as it was for Booster and Da Vinci here today. So everyone's going to be able to play. You get your hand at the dungeon. You'll get to try that out. Matchmaking PvP is available, so you can queue for like 1v1 and 2v2 arenas. So we're going to have all that set for you. And then on the 22nd of April, we're going to have the full open alpha, so you guys can jump in. And that alpha is going to last for a month.
That is insane.
So the month that it lasts, you guys can do whatever you want from within the Solitary Isles. But as I've discussed earlier, the mainlands are off limits because the mainlands, once the game launches in the first quarter of 2023, meaning about a year from now, it'll be completely new to everyone. No one will have any prior knowledge of the mainland before all players arrive there, buy a ship, and start exploring the world together. So start building your communities with your chats, start building your communities with each other. Make some plans for what you want to do as a guild. Do you want to make a crafters guild? Do you want to be a combat guild? Whatever you want to do, make some plans beforehand, because I can guarantee you that almost whatever you plan to want to be able to do in the game, we'll make sure is in the game. So
it is amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for having us here. That is awesome. Thank you for allowing us to play the game and test it out.
Hey, we are so happy to have had you guys. It is truly, truly our pleasure. To you and all of your viewers, we wish you the best of days. And yeah, have a wonderful time, everyone. I'll see you in the alpha.
Right back at you.
All right.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
All right, Da Vinci. Are we gonna keep playing a little bit longer? Just
I think we just need to get
not
back
this
to
dungeon.
town.
Yeah, we need to get back for sure.
How do we get out of here? Let's just get out of here.
Yeah, those rats we don't have to bother about. The spiders, the acid. This is what we do have to worry about.
There's no spiders.
No spiders? Oh,
No.
oh, I guess I'm wrong. Sorry.
Going.
Oh my god, that dungeon is
Where was the way out?
insanely tough.
Yeah, it was. It was.
That was incredible.
Glad we could experience the brood a second time.
Oh yeah, that was great. Oh man, for a second I thought we were gonna be able to at least survive, but we were so
like
wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we have to go through this.
Oh, that's right. There we go.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah. Alright,
More
get rid of those
spiders,
freaking
more
spiders,
spiders.
man.
Let's run out of
Spider-Man.
All right. Yeah, I almost wish on the map there was like you know, like a marking that said where the entrance or something was, where the pathway was.
That would be useful. But also, I mean, you can kind of remember by looking at the map as well.
Sometimes.
Alright, I need to heal up a little bit before continuing. Otherwise, I'm not even gonna make it to the exit. I'm gonna teleport right back to the right back to the entrance.
Yep. All right.
Oh man.
You good? Oh, we didn't get any food. Did you want some mushrooms or something somewhere over here?
Oh, I had the well-fed buff, but then I ate something, it disappeared, and I ate again, and it reappeared again. So I guess there was a visual bug that it showed me having the buff. Maybe. All right, we're good. We're healing now.
Thank you all for
I think this
for
way.
all of the wonderful questions that you.
Maybe not. Let's see. Where are we? Oh no, not this way. We have to go back this way.
Yeah.
We're pretty far.
See if I can aggro like how many spiders at one time.
Oh yeah, let's not do that. Because the as I said, like the acid, the poison, it stacks, man. It's gonna hurt.
Yep.
I think further up.
Yeah, I think we were kind of north out of here.
Yeah, we have to go first north and then now west.
Yep.
And loop back to the south. Somewhere. Probably not this way, but we'll see. We'll find out. Oh, we're close.
Are we?
Yeah. It's here. It's here.
There it is. There it is. Got it.
We made it out.
No,
We made it out
I
alive, Da
didn't
Vinci.
No, I didn't make it. No.
Last second. Wow, it's so bright now. Jeez, look at that.
Yep. There we go.
That's insane.
All right.
My webcam is doing strange things. It's either too bright or not bright enough. Whatever.
No, I've really enjoyed this game, and really enjoyed the experience.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm having a lot of fun with this game so far. Even though it's really tough. It's really tough sometimes. You really don't want to go.
Than I thought it was gonna be. It's kind of like, you know, when you first load into Valheim and you're like, did I really die to a tree?
Exactly. In this case, it's rats and spiders.
Yeah,
the first time
rats.
around.
That kind of threw me there after, you know, the first death to a rat. I'm like, seriously, it's a rat that's spitting something at me.
It's kind of insane.
Oh, all right. We're safe. We're back in town.
I'm glad that everybody's enjoying it as well. And Dom, good to see you. Sorry, I didn't really talk to chat too much because obviously I wanted to have the developer have the word and explain things to you guys. So thank you guys all for being here, hanging out, wishlisting the game, and joining their Discord. Yes. That's awesome.
All right.
Because that's why we were doing it.
And yeah.
Appreciate
it, everybody. Yep. Take care, Booster and Booster's chat. Thank you all for being here.
Yeah, thanks for joining me as well, Da Vinci. And next time, next weekend, we're going to do it again, I guess?
Yes, most definitely.
Awesome. Right. I'll see you then.
Yep, bye.
All right, everybody. It was a lot of fun playing it today. Thank you guys once again for being here. If you have not... !Yore on either YouTube or Twitch, and then you will get the link to their Discord, get the link to their Steam page, and you will get the link to their playlist on YouTube, where they have a couple of videos about the mechanics of the game, so you will learn more in depth about them. And be sure to subscribe to their YouTube channel as well for future videos where they explain more things about the game. Because there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn, and I am definitely going to have to do some more research for next time when we play this again. I'm also probably going to level up, if possible. I think the server will... no, I think the server will close down, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to. I will ask if that is possible or not. I'm probably going to, if possible, level up a little bit. I don't think so, though, because it's obviously a playtest weekend. But we'll see. Thank you all so much for being here. I might be back later today with maybe Valheim, since I haven't done that yesterday and I haven't done that today yet. So, yeah, probably Valheim later today for a couple of hours, not for too long. Stay tuned for that. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you later.